Well, moving on from the wood elven home Leith in the Lockhart Valley, our companions have ridden hard to the high elven city of Tirith, in the mountains to find shelter among Goodale's chosen faction, the Order of the Daughters of Twilight. Arriving just in time for the Festival of the Wheel, the companions have entered the city on the pretense of being Goodale's retinue, her servants, retainers, and guests. In their short time here, Adrik has hired a small army of blacksmiths to build him a splendid suit of dwarven plate armour, costing a small fortune and causing him to loan money off of his companions. The companions were also shocked to discover a troupe of halfling bards from Twaddle, performing a play about the infamous Milford Brixton and the great heist of Vaingate, the story whose factual content was lacking, but whose political efficacy may be potent enough to have them all executed if the facts were known. Meanwhile, Goodale, having encountered her cousin, Darian Janos Talandaran, a Zalator of the Black Guard, has invited the companions to a family dinner at the Talandaran estate, directly after the festival. Will Goodale confront her father, the supreme commander of the Black Guard, about her brother's arrest? Things are set to get very tense in this episode of the Vaingate Chronicles. I'm Russell Kirkby, and I'd like to introduce you to our companions. Barry Tahira playing Milford Brixton, Steve Austin as Leith Mistralath.
Hey everyone.
Joanna Grotenhouse as Goodale Dala Talandaran.
Hello.
Max Easy playing Edryn Montcoff. And last but not least, the hooded and secretive Michael Bache as Adrik Fogdar.
Hello everybody.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you are in your rooms within the temple at the Daughters of Twilight. So here you are at the Tarsellis Temple, up above the city of Highbrook or Tirith. For those that don't know Tirith is a kind of tiered city built up into the mountains near backing onto the Banachia. The Banachia are the mountain ranges that are like the backbone of the world, if you like. Some say that they are, in fact, the bones of a dragon, or possibly giants. Who knows? In any case, the Daughters of Twilight Temple is very busy today, and you guys can hear people running around outside your rooms doing stuff. At present, you're in your apartments, which consist of 6 rooms, all facing inwards into a courtyard that is open to the sky and has a single apple tree growing in the middle of it. There has been sightings of a blackbird or a raven entering and stealing apples, you might recall. In any case, you've been visited briefly and recently by Darian, and he's left not long ago, and you guys have stayed in the room since then, as far as I'm aware. Is that right?
More or less, yeah. I think Adrik probably would have wandered around and gone to the front doors like, oh, could I leave? Could I? No, I promised to stay, and then begrudgingly wandered back to the apartments.
Right. Well, your apartments are not in the main temple building, so that will make you feel a little bit better.
It makes Adrik feel loads better.
Right. The main temple building is a 5-minute walk from where you are, and requires you to cross a bridge that's connected to a buttress that goes into the side of a tower. And it's all very fancy and full of frilly lattice work and ancient elven arches all about you. To be fair, anybody who hasn't been to this city before, who's only ever been to Vaingate, is going to be quite... I don't know whether they'll be impressed, but perhaps the architecture, the elven architecture, will blow your minds, because it seems to defy gravity in some ways. You know, it's incredibly intricate and incredibly detailed and grand. So yeah. So you're sitting in the apartments. All is quiet.
Leith is changing his leather, his glamoured leather armor every 5 minutes, going talking to Goodale, going, is this the right thing to wear to the the dinner, or this, or this, or this?
I like that one.
Oh, very good.
They all seem incredibly appropriate, Leith. What
Oh.
are you most comfortable in?
All of them, really. I mean, it's only an illusion in front of the actual armor, so it's all the same thing to me, really.
So Goodale
Right.
opens the door.
This figure stands up and turns around. Lady Goodale, Lady Talandaran, how may I help you? She says.
No, yes, I am in need of something to wear tonight. I'm going to a dinner.
I see. And you would like me to arrange something for you?
Yes, I'm wondering. It's rather simple what I have in mind. Have you any mourning clothes?
Of course. My apologies, my lady. I had no idea that we would have made provision if we had known.
Surely someone's got something that I can borrow, perhaps?
Mourning costume. Morning attire, she says.
Yes, the traditional sort.
The traditional sort, very well. I shall go and see what may be found. I will return immediately with whatever it is that I am able to acquire. Perhaps I can know your measurements, my lady.
Yes. I do actually have a copy here that I keep for when I need to go to the seamstress. Here.
Of course, and you give her a piece of paper that has these details on it. Very good. Thank you, my lady. You may ask for Bethrana Maya Lethalis. That is I.
Very good. Thank you very much, Bethrana.
Okay. And she runs off. Her footsteps recede down the corridor as you close the door.
So, are we going to the dinner tonight?
Yes, I believe so. It's the dinner will be directly after the festival.
Right. Very good.
Out
Adrik.
of game. Just to clarify, there is a dinner tonight. There is a festival tomorrow.
Oh, sorry.
There may be another dinner tomorrow night.
Okay. Other way around then. So dinner, festival, maybe another dinner.
Yep.
But we're going to one tonight.
The
Maybe
dinner
the
tomorrow
festival,
night is
maybe
the
not the dinner.
most official and formal one. It's part of the festival. The dinner tonight is just a family dinner, theoretically.
Ah, very good. Very good.
Goodale, actually, can you make a perception check, please?
Indeed, I can.
Indeed, I can.
So I've heard.
Here we go.
That was-
Perception check with advantage. Oh,
I have
She
a little
knows this
aim.
temple really well.
well, that makes sense. In any case, you discover that there is in fact an envelope on the floor under your doorway.
Huh. That's interesting. I'll pick it up.
Okay, so you open the envelope, and
Okay.
you find inside it there is an invitation to you and your companions to your father's household for dinner this evening. All of you are listed as emissaries or otherwise as members of her retinue. If you gave the guards names when you came in, I believe you did give the guards names when you came into Hemeth Tirith. Those are the names listed on the envelope, on the invitation. All right? And
Right.
so just for our sake, perhaps we can just go back over those names, make sure that everybody is clear about who they are pretending to be at present.
I'm the only one playing somebody else,
Okay?
and I've forgotten who he is.
Jim Windwalker.
Erdained.
Yes, well, lovely.
All right. Cool. So you're all happy to proceed
Yeah.
with your
Yes.
identities? Excellent.
Yes.
Yep.
How posh is this dinner tonight, Goodale?
posh.
Yes.
In that case, Adrik, would you mind helping me with my beard? It's unkempt. I haven't really done anything with it since I left Vanderhold, so...
Not a problem. That's why I keep these hand axes.
Right, very good.
Right.
Just a
he goes along with it. He knows
like.
Adrik's humor that well that he's just like, sure.
No, it's not humor. Adrik's like wandered off for like a half hour and he's found like a vacant stump. He's ripped it out of the ground, brought it back, put it on the dirt. It's like, all right, when you're ready, it's just yank it, just whack. And then
Not that long. It's still quite
oh, okay.
nothing. I'm not
Dwarven.
Gandalfing it, you know.
I imagined wizardly.
No,
Sorry.
it's still quite up and bunched.
Okay, well then it's really delicate.
Up and bunched. Yes.
Leith, what are you doing while all of this nonsense is going down?
I'm just sort of tidying my attire, slicking my hair back, and generally trying to look the best I possibly can.
Fair enough. And Milford, how about you?
I am dressing appropriately.
Dressing appropriately. Okay, well, what does that mean? You are taking clothes from your own stash of clothes, which I'm not imagining you have a huge stash of clothes with you. You do have a hat of disguise.
Yeah, don't really want to use that there. We have a problem.
What's that?
Me.
Oh, you're going to have to elaborate, Brixton.
I've got no clothes. I mean, not like that, you know.
I was just planning wearing my new armor. They said they'd have it ready today.
Right.
You could wear my chainmail. It's not badly made.
I don't think your chainmail would fit me.
Out of game, armor at a festival or a feast is a bit weird. You know, sitting at a table in full plate armor.
Excellent point. All I've got is my common clothing then. Is it perhaps a stealing trip for the boys?
I mean, you could do it, but it's just, it's up to you.
Brixton, I do have that pair of fine clothes you bought me when I first got to Vaingate. You could have that. I do have the ones I arrived in, and I can spruce those up a bit.
Can't
so
hear you,
you're
man.
more than welcome to have those.
Thank you so much.
They might be a bit big on you, but I'm sure we could try just make it look stylish in a way.
All right. So, what's your plans now? Any further plans? Any ideas you want to enact immediately?
Real quick, by the end of Edryn going off into his room, prestidigitating his spells in his face and his hair, and working with Adrik, he is now completely clean shaven, and his kind of scraggly hair is a little bit more kempt and well groomed.
Right.
It's a lot neater and pushed back compared to its usual scruffiness.
Right.
You can tell this is the first time in a long time he's actually put effort into his appearance.
Right. And are you doing this alone in your personal room, I'm imagining? As opposed to the
shaving and the
courtyard?
prestidigitationing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get you to make a wisdom perception check?
Oh, that's a 17.
A 17 for his wisdom perception check. Edryn, you notice a strange next to the sort of so-called Chamberlain's facilities, the toilet, there is a odd crack in the wall that causes the stone there to sort of sit very slightly, like a millimeter out from the edge, and you can feel a very slight bit of cold air coming through that spot.
Once I finish making myself look nice, I'm going to come out. I'm going to say, good Dale,
Edryn, you look quite dashing.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I've haven't really given any thought to my appearance for quite some time. The other side of my wall, is that an exterior wall? Because there's a little bit of cold air coming through a crack near the where I do my washing up.
You can't be sure.
I'm not really sure. I'm not very familiar with this temple. We could inquire?
Yes, when Beth Rana.
Adrik,
name.
are you overhearing this conversation? Is Adrik going to overhear this conversation, Max, because of the location you're having it?
More than welcome to. Yep, 100% more than capable.
All right. So
I'm probably just like in a separate corner. Just I've got dressed. I'm just combing out my beard and tying my hair into a ponytail right about now.
Okay. And you overhear this conversation about a crack in the wall.
Yeah. I can fix that up. They've got a hammer. It's good for breaking and fixing. It shouldn't be too hard.
Okay, Adrik, do you go and have a look?
Yes.
All right. Well, can you make a perception and investigation check, please?
Perception and investigation.
An investigation check. My apologies.
No problem.
It's intelligence investigation, isn't it?
Yes, that is a 22.
Wow. You have seen this type of thing before, and it is a very old and slightly overworn secret door.
Edryn, I've got... Get in
Yes.
here. So,
Okay.
this is either very good, very bad, or quite interesting. This here is, I'm quite familiar with it. It's a secret door. It's quite old, so it's likely not been used in a while, or maybe it's been used recently. There's no way to know, but it's the foundations of it are incredibly old.
Good.
Shall we look?
Right. Yes. So let's have a quick look.
Alright, let's have a quick look. It's gonna just. Adrik's gonna put his fingers in the cracks and try to pull it open.
So, Adrik, you discover that from what you can tell, the trigger to the secret door must be on the other side. You might be able to release it if you had the right tools, but currently you don't. You kind of you get, it gives a little bit of a wobble, just enough that you know that it's actually a door.
Right.
That much is
most
certain.
definitely a door, but can I see any mechanism on this side?
So, Milford, I don't know whether you're paying attention to this whole conversation, etc., but you may or may not have the tools to open such a door.
What are you two doing?
Shush, come in here.
What?
Right, Brixton, so...
Leith, everybody's abandoned you in the courtyard now.
We found... Sorry.
Leith's kind of heading towards where everybody's gone and is like, just what's going on?
Edryn starts putting away stuff in his room, like it's been a mess, him getting ready. So now that everyone's inside his quarters, he's like quickly putting stuff in his bags and like just things away and like private things, being like, oh, well, we've got company now.
Right.
Okay.
Alright, so we've got a secret door here, and unless we want to try to rip it open, which I don't recommend, it looks like the locking mechanism might be on the other side. Brixton, you're the tricksy sort, so do you have anything in your bag of tools that could persuade it?
I'm not a tricksy thought at all.
Okay, well, how would you put it then?
I'm a great thinker. Let me think on this.
And you don't happen to have any suggestions, or we could just kick it down. That was my first guess.
Goodale, perhaps you can make a history check.
Do you want me to roll investigation?
Oh yeah, you can make an investigation check too, Mr. Tahira, please. If it's not too much trouble.
Rolled a 20.
You rolled a 20. Holy,
Well,
is that a
15
natural?
plus 5.
15
No,
plus
not
5.
natural.
Wow. Okay, so a gentleman's 20 then. Excellent. Goodale, you've heard of incidences in the Vaingate Temple in Solanor where people have very secretly, quietly talked about there being secret doors in certain chambers, often used to... Well, apparently once upon a time they were used to spy on guests, especially when guests were out, that sort of thing. But, it's frowned upon, and it's certainly not something that the Daughters of Twilight would want to be kind of known for. Milford, your 14 investigation check reveals to you that if only you had some slightly longer tools, you might be able to manage to get that latch that you can barely see through the crack. But the tools that you have are designed for opening locks and things in the sort of foreground rather than 2 feet back through a crack in some stone. That makes sense.
I've just remembered something that I left in the courtyard that I could use some help with. Could I have all of your assistance for a moment?
Aye, not a problem.
Okay. So, all right. Now that we're in the courtyard,
What's going on? Why is everybody being all sneaky?
We found a secret door.
Oh,
yes.
oh, yes.
There have been tales that these sorts of secret doors are sometimes used for spying on guests in various temples. So we could just pretend we're not interested and be very careful, or we could pry it open and see if someone is actually using it at the moment.
What sort of spying do you mean?
But
I mean,
I
they could be
suppose-
peeping on Edryn. That's always a
Especially now.
possibility.
Well, it's rather concerning.
Yes, very. Is there any furniture in my room that's movable?
Yes, there is.
Edrik, would you mind helping me blocking the way?
No problem.
Shelf or something.
Should we have the wardrobe, the chase, or the bed?
The bed I need to sleep on. I do like a chaise, so maybe we should move the wardrobe if
That's
possible.
a good idea. All right, legs. Now, first rule of lifting things. I don't know how much you've done it. Don't use your back. You'll snap it in two.
Okay.
Use your arse and your legs.
All right,
Right,
so you
okay.
guys move the furniture around.
Yeah, I coach him on a good deadlift of the wardrobe.
There's a bell at the door.
Hello.
Lady Talandaran, Bethrana.
Ah, yes.
Do you
I'll
open
step out into the hallway.
Lady Talandaran, I have obtained these robes for you. These are the official mourning robes of Saint Myler of Tulrath. You may have these particular robes for the evening if you so desire. Please do return them in the most excellent condition that you found them.
Yes, certainly. Thank you so much. That is quite an honor. I didn't need anything quite so fine, but
Will there be anything else required?
should I have the time to do so, where would you recommend getting my hair done?
Well, milady, I am one of the maidservants here. I could perhaps...
Russell,
Yes.
I was thinking of getting my rope to tie around that latch.
Okay. Your rope to tie around the... How would you get the rope through the crack? It's a tiny little crack. The rope is like this thick.
Oh, I've got an idea for this actually. So Brixton, what do you think of getting to that latch over there? Can your tools reach?
No, I can't reach that ledge. And my
Well-
rope's too thick. But if I had a very sturdy wire...
Well, how about let me pick up my armor tomorrow from the blacksmiths.
You'll need to do it before the festival starts too.
Yes, tomorrow. So what we could do when we go to grab it is, you know what tools you need better than anyone. So,
Yeah, that's right.
So you give them what you need, and perhaps they'll have something similar lying around, and have a wee poke around, and what we need potentially.
Okay.
You could feasibly get tools made too, Barry, if you want it.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
so
I was already thinking of that.
long story short, what do you guys look like once you are prepared? What is there anything in particular you want to be wearing or otherwise? You've got the money and the resources to obtain pretty much whatever you need. So, what do you look like, Milford? What are you wearing? What colors are you wearing? I mean, and who is this character that you're pretending to be right now? Because obviously you're not being Milford Brixton.
I'm wearing a blue kind of jacket, and it's got, frilly things up here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And a silk shirt under that with a blue pair of trousers, and I've tidied up my hair so it's a little bit straighter than normal.
Okay.
Just in case anybody, there's pictures of Milford Brixton or anything like that.
Well, I mean, dreadlocks. You can put them under something.
Yeah, I'll do that. And that's when I'll wear the hat. I'll put the hat on.
Okay. And you are aware that you will have to take the hat off inside the house of the Talandarans.
Oh, yes, but then I'll be finding a place to get less notice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All right, Leith.
Leith has gone for like nice, really elvish, super spiky, contemporary kind of hair.
Okay.
He's taken Goodale's guidance and gone for something very ostentatiously within the family kind of a look to try and carefully fit in. So nicely kept robes and gloves and what else would the family be? What sort of color range does the family dress in, Joe?
Probably rich jewel tones, I would imagine. What do you think, Russell?
Yeah, heavily jeweled. I mean, Dad, of course, is the supreme commander of the Black Guard, so he tends to wear uniforms. The rest of the family are a very conservative. Think Middle Ages Italian, like the Medici family, for example, something like that.
Yep.
Right? They're like
Okay.
bankers or something like that. They're a little bit conservative in that they're not ridiculously ostentatious because they're so freaking rich. They don't need to be. Everybody knows who they are.
Leith's probably gone like the higher end of the spectrum of the color range that they're
Okay. Like maybe a
thinking.
burgundy or something like that.
So like a really bright burgundy cloak or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Adrik.
Adrik he's just wearing common clothes. It's mostly quite simple.
Okay.
Black pants, some nice, well-polished boots, and a cotton shirt with drawstrings across the neck.
What are you carrying on you, by the way? And I just want to differentiate one thing. You guys are not dressed to go adventuring, so you're not wearing backpacks with 5 different swords and, 3 different shields and your +4 dagger of pock picketing and blah-de-blah. Okay, you've got like one thing on you. What are you carrying is what I'm kind of interested in. What weapons do you have with you? That type of stuff, if any.
Leith definitely won't want to go anywhere without the Staff of Power.
Okay, so he's got a staff with him. All right.
He's got very connected to the staff. Yeah.
Okay.
He'll use it as like a formal a formal staff in this occasion.
All
You
right.
really want to take the Staff of Power, do you?
You never know, Milford, but it's a nice
Isn't
effect.
what happened with the boat?
It's just a nice affectation, really.
Okay, I just thought, the boat, the power staff thing.
What, you think I should take the boat?
No, I'm trying to remind you what happened when you had a magic boat. If you got a powerful staff, what you think's going to happen then?
No, it's fine. I'm in a formal situation. I think I can reason myself enough to control myself if I need to.
Leith, I think that Milford might have a point. If the Blackguard are hunting for magical items, there's a good chance that it may be confiscated.
I don't want it to be stolen, though. Steve feels like he's just given Russell the opening now.
Ooh. Well,
I think the secret door was the opening.
It is now closing.
Yes.
couldn't we
Behind a wardrobe.
Couldn't we No, you can check if something's magic, can't you? It's magic, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely, yes.
Well, if we're deeply concerned about it being stolen, we could go to our informant and potentially leave them there.
That's a very good idea. Yes.
So, we have options. We can't just leave them here if we're trusting of the temple and the servants, or if we were feeling a little bit under duress, we can take them over to our gentleman friend.
He's a long way from here, though, isn't he?
Well, I do think having somewhere to stash them that we trust is probably a good idea. Not that we don't trust the word of your family, Dala, but there are Blackguard around,
I trust them to take the stuff off us. I trust them to do that.
I feel like I've put my foot in my mouth in front of you, Dala.
No, it's okay, Leith. My family is proving to be very problematic.
Good.
Could we put our items?
Problematic.
Could we put our items in the bag of holding and then put the bag of holding somewhere safe? Like,
good.
Cut open a
Good
bed
idea.
and stick it in there, or behind something
That is
in the tree.
It's a very good idea.
That is a great idea. Okay.
Let's do that. Hell yeah.
Here's the bag of holding. Magic items in.
Leith puts it in and goes, Staff of Power, Folding Boat, Potion of Clairvoyance, Potion of Mind Reading, Ring of Protection.
Leith, I think maybe if we're worried about prying eyes, we should also worry about prying ears and perhaps lower the voice.
Cloak of Elven Kind.
Yes, that's very good.
Potion of Clairvoyance.
Anybody else
Dust of
got any?
Disappearance.
Has anybody else got any kind of stuff like that they'd like to put in there?
I'd like to give Leith some inspiration.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in my wizarding shit. Because even though one of my two spell books isn't magical, having a spell book on you is a little bit...
It's a bit sus.
Or no, because that would just make life easier for me. So yeah, I'm basically putting my stuff. Anything that I won't necessarily need, anything precious or anything I won't immediately need is going in there, and then the other stuff is just out in my pack. I am keeping on my person. I think there are 3 items that I am definitely keeping on my person. One of them is my teddy bear. One of them is my signet ring, which I am currently wearing. And the other one is this stone that Adrik gave him, but he's keeping that in his pant pocket.
I think it's fair to say that, just for the sake of brevity, that you guys can decide what you've got with you afterwards during the course of things, because you're not idiots, and you've come to this conclusion that you can put things in the bag of holding, which is not a bad idea at all. The real question is, where's the bag of holding going to go? And the other question is, will you all roll a wisdom perception check for me, please?
7. The good rolls are over.
24.
11.
Okay, Milford, a 7.
Ooh.
What the?
That's a
Leith's
that's
a
a 20.
24. Okay.
Yep.
Milford's a 20. Goodale's a 19. Okay. Goodale. Okay. So most of you will notice, except for Adrik, that there are bells ringing. I don't know why Adrik doesn't notice this. He's obviously concerned about something or another. Everyone else will notice the bells ringing. And the thing about that is, Goodale, you recognize them as being, they're temple bells, and they usually signal the arrival of some important people. Something to that effect. It's usually a signal to say somebody important is arriving, send the crew that goes in, the stable hands, the handmaidens, all of those people have to race to the gate, basically, and attend to the new guests. So that's what you're kind of getting from the coded bell signal. Goodale. Everybody else notices the bells, they just don't know what they mean. Actually,
One of
Leith,
2 ideas. One,
Leith, you might have actually a clue. That's why you got 24, I think, because you've lived with the temple in Vaingate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
we have
Is
one
this-
or 2 ideas. Oh, yes.
Is it kind of a stand to attention situation, or do I know?
It depends who it is and whether it's relevant to you. You don't know. I mean, obviously
Right.
the temple's quite big. Could be anybody arriving.
Well, Leith's time at the temple was quite limited, so he would probably be right. Yes.
Probably proud of the fact that he remembers what it's for too.
Yeah, and totally does. Even if there's no one there, he's doing the life, liberty,
love.
light, and
Right.
light and love.
Right.
You can take away that point of
Inspiration.
for me forgetting what it is.
That's all right.
Um,
It is
How-
in the group document though. You can find
Life.
it right there.
Yep, light, life, liberty, and love.
Very
how
good.
voluminous is the apple tree? Is it like
That's where
bushy?
No, it's
like, is
fairly Spartan
sparse?
actually.
All right.
The one apple
where I
that
was
on it-
headed.
The one apple that was on it is gone now.
All right.
That
In that
dirty
case,
old crow took it.
Yes. Maybe. Oh, the only other place I can think to put the bag is in the wardrobe that is currently blocking the secret door.
Well, each of you has a chest at the base of your what do you call it? Bed. That is
Yes.
lockable. And the locks, each of those locks has a key sitting in the keyhole at present, which is how you found them. So presumably each guest gets to have their own key to their own locked chest. However, whether or not you trust that those are the only copies of those keys is an entirely
Yes.
different question.
And if you're looking for something, someone's safe box is the first place to look for something
Right.
particularly nice.
Quite
these-
so.
Are these wooden floors?
No, these are stone floors.
Ah, damn. Okay, Adrik or Michael was thinking just to rip one up and just drop the thing in the hole.
Ha ha ha. Wooden floors. In the temple of the Daughters of Twilight. I think not. They're marble.
You can forgive my confusion because stone is the trees of dirt.
That is true.
I was
Bring that back as
thinking
much as possible.
That's the best callback.
Right. Alrighty. Okay, so you hear some
Underneath someone's
commotion going
mattress.
on
Yeah.
outside. Anybody that is in fact listening. You hear horns. And you can hear people running
That sounds
down.
important.
It does.
Gates opening in the distance.
Should we put the bag of holding underneath some pillows? So just
mattress,
looks like another pillow.
pillows.
Does
That's also
anybody
good.
have any means of maybe
How
trapping,
big is the bag of holding?
putting a trap
That's
on
also
one
a
of
good
the?
It's a bag. It's a flat.
Standard stack.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody have a means of putting a trap on one of the one of the boxes on the lock, and we could trap it or something, so that if anybody does come along and pry, they're going to get a nasty surprise.
It's a good idea. I do not have such a.
It's not only monsters that do that in dungeons. We should remember.
Yeah, if we're wanting some sort of glyph, but I don't have anything like that at the current climate.
That is not something the rune carver feat can do, unfortunately.
Ah.
It might just be a hope that they don't search our beds.
That's probably the best way to go about it. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yes, I'm sure it will be.
All right. So you guys are all ready and dressed, and you've got like 30 minutes or so before you need to get to House Talandaran.
Okay. I'll just describe to the other fellows so they know what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a
Yes, please.
a dress made of rags that have been dyed black. This is a traditional Daughters of Twilight mourning garb.
Ooh.
And this particular dress is actually remarkably stylish, given that it's made of rags, and is designed with a kind of an architectural style and look to it, and was apparently owned by a saint at some point.
Ooh.
Yes.
And since I'm the only person who hasn't said anything on that matter, I am wearing the Vanderholdian fine clothes, which means they are relatively they're not built for they're built a lot more for utility. For even the nobles are kind of like, if I can't do basic shit in it, there's no point wearing it. So it's still quite utility, but it's just looks a little bit nicer.
A little bit of
than
fur trim
common
on it.
clothes. Yeah, a little bit of fur trim. Maybe the material's just a little bit nicer. It opens up at the collar a bit. But it just looks like a particularly nice pair of common clothes rather than what Brixton's wearing, which is very...
With shoulder pads.
Yeah. I'm just wearing the 80s.
Cool. Anyone got any particular headdress on or anything like that? I know Milford's wearing a hat.
Ponytail, that's about it for Adrik.
All right.
Complicated plaits.
All right. Oh, plaits. Okay, cool. So you get your plaits done, etc. A hair-doing servant comes down and does your plaits for you, and you spend 20 minutes doing that at some point. All right. All very good. Eventually, it is time, and the bell rings outside your door, and we shall say that the servant, Bethrina, Maya Lathalas, is outside, and she says to you, it's time for your journey to House Talandaran, madam.
Very good.
So you begin to make your way out of the temple, and as you are on your way out of the temple, all of you collectively, as a group, moving towards the main gate, you basically, first of all, realize that the temple itself, in this case, is up on a platform overlooking the city from above. You can look down on the palace from here, from a kind of an oblique angle, but you can see the palace from up here. And as you're kind of admiring that, you notice this troop of horses moving through the place, and you see some paladins, Goodale, Daughters of Twilight paladins, and they're wearing insignia, which you can make out, and you are a little bit shocked to realize. In fact, you know what? You can make a history check. You can make a history check. Yes. Who else would be able to make this history check? I don't think anybody else here can make this history check. It's just Goodale.
Gentleman's 24.
A gentleman's 24.
A gentleman's 24.
Very well then. You recognize that it is the Imdrael symbol. And in fact, these are the personal guard of Iolantha Imdrael, all the way from Vaingate. And suddenly it makes sense that she would return for the Festival of the Wheel.
Right. Iolantha's here. Oh, that is good news.
Aelar was your sister, right?
She's the high priestess. She's the high priestess at
She's the seneschal of Vaingate Temple Solinar. Yeah.
Yes.
You're not related to her.
Right.
She's just a...
No. She spoke quite, well, empathetically to you at the temple in Vaingate, Adrik, perhaps.
Oh yeah, that was her. This is going to be awkward.
It doesn't need to be, but perhaps I trust her very much. Perhaps she knows what we can. She might have ideas about our magic items if we're not entirely.
Is she going to know who Brixton is?
Oh.
Alright, so best we keep those two apart. Brixton, you stay as far away from her as possible.
I'm hoping I don't look like me, or I didn't go to all that work for nothing.
Aye, but just in case, and she comes up close and goes, I've never met you before. Who are you? Oh, it's you, Milford, Brixton, and the entire party goes wild.
Yes, that's very, very true. Everybody in Vaingate does know you, Milford. And you have a bit of a reputation there.
I would hope she perhaps has more tact if she knows that we were doing something mischievous in Vaingate and recognizes us. I hope she'll be wise enough to be able to.
Well, we kind of
keep
were
it to
doing
herself.
We kind of were doing it for them as well, so.
Well, considering, you know what? Actually, this is potentially a good bit of information gathering on Vaingate's part. We can learn a bit of what's happening over there through her.
It's true.
Wonder if she's going to this dinner. Probably not.
We'll have to see.
So what you are witnessing now is her servants are putting away her horses and taking out her equipment and things from the wagon train. And taking it up to some quarters. She's not here. She's already left. She's already inside the building somewhere. At this point. So you're not in any immediate danger of running into her, but you are now aware that she is present in the city. In any case, you now travel down from the temple into the main city via a road that takes you outside the walls, and you come back in. Now you each have a stamp that has been given to you, a seal made of wax that gives you access to the city. And you are all members of a group that has the same stamp. You can only travel together. You can't leave the city and get back in again by yourselves. You are warned about this. Goodale could. She's the only one that could. But if any of you, other than Goodale, separates and ends up outside the city, you won't be able to get back in without your companions, or at least without Goodale. Not easily.
But otherwise, we can travel the city more or less freely, as long as we don't exit.
As long as you don't exit. Once you're in the city, you're pretty much fine. Yeah.
Righto.
There may be checkpoints. Not very likely. It's possible that there could be checkpoints. Goodale will know this, and she will have probably informed you of this, I expect. And as you go into the upper city, you see a lot of very, very fancy houses that are really just small palaces. Some of these houses are like are more impressive than some of the palace places or the palatial district of Vaingate. And these are just high houses. They're not actually so-called palaces. The palace, which is up above you all looking down, consists of two main wings that you can see, which stick out below a cliff and has a waterfall running down over the top between the two main wings of the palace, and it's covered in gold leaf. You assume it's gold leaf. It could be solid gold. and it's all very beautifully painted and decorated, and reflective and shiny up above. And so that waterfall in the distance falls from way, way up in the mountains as the first drop of the waterfall, and it falls down to the arcane district, then through to the palatial, the palace itself, then through the Highbrook, the upper levels of Highbrook, and then down to lower Highbrook, and then past you down into the valley. So this ongoing dropping waterfall coming down these various stairs, if you like, these tiers from the mountains. And so you find yourselves outside House Talandaran, which is a rather beautiful and austere pseudo palace. And there are gates and guards, black guards at the gates, on watch, at attention. In any case, you stop before them, and they one of them steps forward. Greetings, my lady. You seek admission to House Talandaran. You, of course, have papers.
Yes. Here's the invitation we received this morning, and here are our papers.
Very good. He checks them over. Very well. Open the gate. And they do. And you are ushered onwards and inwards, and inwards and onwards, and you go up some grand stairs to the main entrance, where various servants offer to take your things and hang your cloaks and so on and so forth. Hats are normally taken off here, etc. And approximately this point, Goodale, you hear a familiar voice ring out. Goodale? Goodale, is that you, Goodale? And it is your sister, Ilivara, and she appears from a side archway. Goodale! Darla!
Ilivara!
It's been so long, and are you well?
Under the circumstances, yes, I'm well.
I was excited to hear that you were here. Obviously, there is much to discuss.
Yes, obviously. Please allow me to introduce my companions.
Of course.
This is Adrik and Leith, and I'll give her the full names, of course. And
right. All right. And so, for your own sakes, perhaps it is worth making a note at the top of the group canon document, all of your aliases for this particular session, just so it's easy for everybody to see them and remember who you are and who each other are supposed to be.
I'm not sure if I made one.
Yeah, I think everyone is themselves except for
Milford?
Milford.
Okay.
Yeah. Who is Erdan.
All right.
Yes.
So, okay, well, that's fair enough then. All right, so everyone's themselves except for Erdan. All right, well, Goodale's sister, Ilivara, is this fairly prim and proper lady, very fashionable, very beautiful, very tall, somewhat ethereal looking elf, and you see the family resemblance in her, and she greets each of you, and she ushers you through to a waiting room and asks you each if you would like some, would you like some wine, something to get started with.
Oh, no. You wouldn't happen to have any, a nice dwarven ale, would you?
That could be arranged, of course, Master Adrik. Or Master
Thank you
Master
kindly.
Fogdar, she says.
An elven wine doesn't quite mix well with my constitution, I'm afraid.
Of course it doesn't. Chop, chop, she calls a servant. Yes, milady, this fellow here would like dwarven... Was it mead or ale that you were preferring?
A nice ale, a nice light ale.
Very well. Mr. Fogdar, I shall thusly assign you... one moment. I shall assign you Nearis as your handmaiden for the evening.
I too, if it's all right, I might join Mr. Fogdar in his drink. I've had a lot of elven wine recently, and I fear too much may aggravate the gout.
Yes, please, of course, very well. And I shall also leave you then also with Neris. Neris, would you be able to assist Goodale's retinue this evening? Of course, my lady. Very well. Will you need any help from Day or Bryn? I do not think so, madam. I will ask them if I require their assistance. Yes, do. And so you meet Neris, and she curtsies to you and gets your ale and what have you. It's not long before they bring you some hors d'oeuvres and things laid out on platters. And so you see your father, Goodale, come down the stairs from up above, down the wide archways. He is a very severe-looking elf with black hair, shortly cropped. He's not wearing armour at present. He's just wearing a normal kind of suit of clothes, very fancy, however, but not terribly ostentatious. You do see the jewels hanging in it. Well, if it isn't my daughter, Goodale Darla Talandaran, he says, coming down the steps, and how long it has been since we have met. Gets to the bottom of the stairs.
Hello, Father. Yes, I believe the last time may have been Auntie Clara's funeral.
I think you might be correct. And I assume that you are well?
As well as may be expected, yes.
What an odd dress that you wear. This is supposed to be a festival of the wheel. You appear to be dressed for a funeral. Are you quite all right? Have you had one of your turns, Goodale?
They are as frequent as ever, Father, but I suppose you could say I'm not feeling overly festive.
Oh, yes, well, very good. At least you're well. That's the main primary concern. We shall dine and sup shortly. He looks at the rest of you. And this is your retinue, I understand? He nods to each of you. Pleasure is all mine, he says. Reaches out to...
yes, my lord.
Yes.
Pleasure.
You'll find me in the dining hall. And he wafts off down in that direction with various servants, and a guard comes up to him and starts talking to him as he's walking in that direction, and they've got scrolls and notes, and he's obviously still working at whatever he does as he heads in that direction.
Your father's quite imposing.
Yes.
So I wonder you're the ray of sunshine that you are. Truly.
Goodale, you recognize your mother coming out from the lower steps. She has a host of servants with her, and they're all chitter-chattering about various things. The table dressings, are they perfect, and blah, blah, blah. The wall hangings, are they done correctly? The menu is all in good order. And so she looks over at you, and she sees you, and she looks at you, scowls for a moment, glances across the rest of you, and she and her servants just turn and head for the dining hall.
What was that about?
Mother disapproves. It's probably...
Of what, exactly?
Well, it's no wonder that Mother disapproves. You hear a voice from behind you, Goodale. And you turn, and it is Aelar. And for the rest of you, Aelar is another elf, high elf, looks a lot like Goodale, similar height. He is a wizard, clearly, based on his attire, which is very curious to anyone who's interested in the politics of Highbrook, for wizards are rather outlawed. It is no wonder that he disapproves, sister.
Yes, there are various grounds for the disapproval, I suppose.
Well, look at you, darling. You are dressed for a funeral. I suppose this is your rebellion to dear brother's situation.
How very astute of you, Aelar.
It's not hard. Goodale, you've always had a soft spot for Ren. But I shouldn't use his name. The walls have ears.
So he just ceases to exist.
Come, let us talk. And he opens a door to a side room. Should we go in here? We can talk in the gallery. Bring your friends. I'd love to meet them.
Sure. Gentlemen, shall we follow Aelar?
Of
Stress
course.
eating hors d'oeuvres now at this point, just stress eating the hors d'oeuvres.
I'm imagining
The second
Edryn's
the meat comes, he's just
Edryn's got like a platter in one hand and a cup in the other.
yeah,
bottle,
and he's
maybe.
just. It was like at first he was like, I'm gonna take this slow, and then he's just been introduced to each of the family members, and now he's just stress.
Okay.
Adrik's angry drinking, not quite as fast, but he's just stewing in his cup.
Right. All right. Yes, I'm Aelar Talandaran, Goodale's brother. It's very pleasurable, a great pleasure to meet each of you, an honor, in fact, he says. And who might you be? And he stoops somewhat to you, Adrik.
I'm sure we can be honest, Aelar. You already know who they all are.
Do I? I know that they're your companions from Vaingate and that you're sneaking them in.
Oh well,
Sneaky.
the sneaking isn't the appropriate word. We walked in through the front. Are terrible thieves if that's the case.
Goodale, tell me, these are not the the bandits of Vaingate, are they? These are not the ones everyone's looking for. Promise me this. He looks around at each of you.
We did see a play about that on the way in, but
Oh, the pantomime.
Hey. That must have happened after we left.
I can only go so far to keep this business from father. So do try and be subtle. Bringing them to our house, no offense to you all, but bringing them to our house, honestly, what are you thinking, sister?
They're my friends.
They might be the most disreputable number of beings on the face of Sidariel. Whether or not they have good intentions is beside the point. Your father is the supreme commander of the Black Guard. What are you thinking?
I mean, her cousin did also cordially invite us. I think it was. She probably didn't want to bring us along to this family.
What was your name again, sir? Forgive me.
Edryn.
Edryn.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Whereabouts are you from, Lord Edryn?
Vanderhold, to the north.
Do they have a word in your language for entrapment?
Yes, it's entrapment.
Yes, I thought it might be.
Right.
That is my concern. Anyway, all I can say, Goodale, is that these seem like nice enough people to me. But do not let father or anyone else come to any conclusions about whom might be in our presence. Father is too busy to have noticed so far, and your mother is too busy being concerned about the fact that you're dressed like a widow over our brother's recent complications.
What state did he leave in? Is he okay? Was he okay?
Well, he was okay. He went willingly, or at least he didn't fight.
He wouldn't.
Of course, he's too honourable. There was... all things were done with the most amount of decorum and etiquette. But nonetheless, our dear younger brother has been taken to the Sufferance.
What are the chances that we can plead his case to get him out?
I've made a beginning on that. I've made some some pleas already, but Father, they fall on deaf ears. I'm not sure what his plans are there. Part of me suspects Father is simply trying to scare Ren into ignoring and leaving these old interests of his. Surely you remember the times Ren has brought up on numerous occasions his conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories?
Oh, yes, he talks about it all the time. He believes that the entire situation surrounding the Highbrook Pass involvement. Do you remember that?
Was that the mission that we were on together that time?
I don't think so. Perhaps that might have been a part of it. No, he was with King Evran the day that he died.
Ren was?
Yes. You didn't know that? Yes, he was with King Evran. Evran was there along with a host of very tight-knit security, etc. And Ren swears black and blue that he doesn't understand how the orcs managed to get to the king. Surely the king should have been guarded more correctly and properly, but nonetheless, what he suspected was a small contingent of orcs managed to breach the walls at the pass, the top of the pass. What's the name of that damned place? In any case, the king was lost, and of course, this all pointed to King Evran, of course, because who else could have possibly have plotted such a dire?
He believed
outcome?
that King Evran
Well,
coerced the orcs?
he seems to believe that, yes. It's ridiculous, of course.
Well,
He would incessantly talk about how he found orcs with electrum pieces. Do you remember that? Pieces.
Adele grabs Aelar's arm and looks him in the eye and says, I was with him when we found such things on
Oh, please,
orcs."
Goodale, not you too. The last thing I need is for you to be
listen.
taken as well. This is...
It was when we were on a mission with the Daughters of Twilight and a small contingent of black guards.
Goodale, realize where you are.
Okay. Is there a safe place to speak of such things?
There is... Perhaps at your temple would be a good place.
Will you come find us?
Yes. Be careful. You are in the hornet's nest.
Can I make an insight check to see how sincere he feels?
Sure.
This is a 5. God damn, even with advantage.
Even with advantage. So apparently...
Damn you, frost runes.
He could be lying, he could be telling the truth. You've got no idea. You can't read him at all. You hear another bell. Apparently tonight's game thematically is about bells.
Bells, the bells.
The bows, the bows.
For whom they toll.
For whom they toll. Indeed.
The city's awfully louder than Bernard Feed. My god.
Right, so you head on through at this point. Aelar directs you to head on through to the dining hall, where there is a large feast being prepared in a huge U-shaped table. And in the center of it, of course, is Lord Talandaran, Elandor, and his wife, Arina Hadari Talandaran. And you guys, Goodale, where do you think you would like to sit? Is there anyone in particular you want to sit near?
Maybe Ilavara?
Ilavara, all right.
Sister? And...
All right. You were briefly introduced, by the way, all of you, to a number of people, including the steward, Rin Beravin, the chamberlain, Tia Cloudwalker, the valet, Zara Malira Kolana, who incidentally is immediately apparently a drow. And this drow elf is the valet, which is very peculiar. Goodale, you happen to know the story about this. This drow has been in disgrace, was disgraced, came to escape the Underdark and was taken in by the Talandaran family. And your father himself allowed Zara to join your household. So there's this weird sort of thing where every now and again he will do these deeply kind things and take on board people from outsiders who have been disgraced or otherwise thrown to the wind, and he will take them on board and turn them into extraordinarily loyal assistants of some description. You also meet Bryn Firahel, who is the marshal, and he's the house marshal. He's in charge of protecting this household under any circumstances, from anything from theft to war. And you meet Koeth Isandril, who is the falconer. Then you meet some of the handmaidens and what have you, and everybody takes their seats. Leith, you are sitting next to a lady who looks over to you as the drinks are being served, and she says, "Good evening. I'm Vidania."
Hello. I'm not too sure of the etiquette around here, so greetings to you.
And to you, she says. "Can I bring some more wine, please?" And they bring some elven wine and pour out 2 large cups, and she says, "Perhaps we can do a toast. I too am a little distant in this location. I am a member of the family, but
yes.
Cheers."
Thank you. Cheers.
And on the other side of
Lovely.
her, I think, Adrik, you're sitting on the other side of her. "And who might you be, young fellow?" she says.
A pleasure to meet you. My name is Adrik Fogdar.
Very
I hail
nice.
from
Adrik.
the Benakaya Mountains.
And as you're talking, she turns back to Leith. Clearly more interested in Leith than your dwarven self. You're not quite sure what that's about, but...
Is Edryn an eye shot of me?
Edryn's opposite you at the table, sitting next to...
I keep talking and I trail off with a look into his eyes.
I'm already looking at him
No.
just giving him very I'm so sorry for you looks.
Pero no, Fane.
Next to you, Goodale, on one side is Ilavara, and on the other side is Darian. On the other side of Darian, we shall put Milford Brixton. And
I'll just point out to you there, Russell, I just did a charisma check.
Okay. What was your charisma check? Let me have a look. Oh, that's a massive 11.
Yep.
Wow, okay. All right. Are you persuading or intimidating or what?
I'm just offering that charisma check up as the general situation of how she perceives me.
Right. That's interesting. Okay.
This intimidator is so dominant.
Well, in any case, she's smiling to you, Leith. And she says to you, "And where are you from, Mr. What was it, Mr. Lath?"
Yes. I'm from a small community just outside of Timbrook, actually. Yes. Quite a sheltered childhood.
I did not know there was a community outside of Timbrook. I thought Timbrook was the far edge of the Lockhart Valley.
Leith realizes that he's seen all too much already and completely downs the glass of wine.
Okay. Can you make a Constitution saving throw?
Yep. $16.
16. All right, you're fine. No problem.
He immediately puts his glass up for another one.
All right. So as they're pouring the glass of wine, Darian turns to you, Edryn, and he says, "Excuse me, sir. We met yesterday, if you do recall."
Yes. You are Darian Talandaran, correct?
Correct, yes. Cousin of your friend, your mistress, is it? Forgive me, I'm not
Yes,
entirely sure of the...
Yes, my I suppose employer with a friendly streak, I think, is probably the best term.
I believe we briefly discussed the fate of Vanderhold.
Oh, yes, you told me about issues they were having currently.
I have looked into these
conflicts.
things on your behalf, sir, and I have some
Yes?
news for you.
Yes.
They have there is the thing they're discussing, a event they're naming the Fisher Revolt.
Oh.
It seems to have been a culmination of sickness caused by contact with some sort of fish, some sort of something washed up on the ocean, from the ocean, on the beach. Contact with, they call it a leviathan. Who knows exactly what that's about. In any case, a stranger arrived from the south, apparently, looking to make some sort of an extract from this leviathan's corpse, they say. Lots of money involved. But it seems to have caused a bit of riffraff, a bit of problem, as you see, the fishermen are getting sick from the making of the extract, but the extract is extremely valuable, and thus they continue to go about their business doing this. This continues to worsen the sickness, and thus some of the fishermen are dying. This has caused something of a revolt among the peasantry. That's the closest I have to any proper news. I hope that gives you something to consider.
Yes, thank you. He's previously just seen Leith down the wine. His hand is like shaking at this point, and like the ale is frothing over, and he tries to steadily down it before he stands up abruptly and says, I need to go wash up for a bit, if that's, excuse me. And he heads over to the bathroom.
All right, so you head over to the bathroom. Can I get everyone else to make a perception check, please? Perception.
8.
Well, Leith, you're busy.
Leith is busy being like nervous and drinking more wine and trying to be sociable, but being very, very awkward about it.
Well, this lady sitting next to you, Leith, seems to be... she seems to have taken a bit of a shine to you. And she's very happy to keep pouring you drinks. And she has this habit of putting her hand on your hand and touching your arm while you're talking, and curling her hair while she's talking to you.
Please tell me more about yourself. Where are you from?
Well, I've been raised here in...
You're part of this family, of course.
Yes.
This is a silly question.
Well, I'm a cousin of your friend, Goodale.
Oh, yes?
Yes, I've met her a few times now, perhaps 4 or 5 times in the course of a lifetime. Out of game, you can blame Joanna for this NPC. I'd just like you to know that. This was all her idea, and I thought it was excellent.
Was this written for Leith?
This was written for Leith.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Joanna.
Love it.
So, she's taking a shine to you. Meanwhile, you guys made your perception checks, which I'll just double check over here. Spit it out. D&D Beyond. What do we get? Milford, 11. Goodale, 14. Leith, an 8. Obviously busy. Adrik, 7. Okay.
For Adrik, 7. He might have just excused himself to go check on Edryn.
Okay, that makes good sense. All right, so we'll have a scene with those two in a moment. Everybody else will overhear a conversation happening at the head of the table, whereby the city of Dagdagiel is mentioned by the head of the family, Elandor. He speaks of, he's talking about Dagdagiel marching on Vaingate. He says something about blah-de-blah-de-blah, the Empress of Doors. And you can't quite tell what's the rest of the conversation because there's a lot of chit-chat going on around it. But those words come up over the conversation that you managed to pick up. Right. And Goodale, Aelar turns to you and he says, "Have you had word from Vaingate?"
No, just the pantomime, really.
Just the pantomime. Well, the pantomime is not entirely inaccurate, to be honest with you, Goodale. There has indeed been some sort of heist. Everyone is speaking of it from the north to the south. Across the world, it's famous.
Across
Apparently,
the world?
Across the world.
What on earth was heisted that was so important?
Enormous amounts of treasure apparently have been stolen from Vaingate, from beneath the crypts in the ground. Apparently right from beneath the very eyes of Queen Claresca of Scartabel, who, incidentally, has gone missing now. They say that Lord Duncan, who was apparently the premonstrator of Vaingate, he's been made regent, whilst the Queen is in, missing. There have been riots.
Met her once. She was so lovely.
You met Queen Claresca?
She's quite impressive for a 9-year-old queen.
Well, you better hope she's still impressive, because she might be dead for all we know.
I hope not.
A 9-year-old queen. These humans, 9 years old. Can you imagine?
I know.
A 9-year-old
No, I
elven
can't.
queen?
I couldn't have before I met her.
They say there's riots happening all across Vaingate now. Parts of the city have been burned down. I even heard stories of monsters being on the loose, rampaging about the city.
Monsters, huh?
Yes.
Out of curiosity at this point, Goodale, are you wearing your trophy of the what was that demon called?
The
Shusuva.
Suva.
Yeah, are you wearing your Shusuva token that Adrik made you?
Let's say that I am.
Okay. All right. All right. So, okay, cutting out of that scene, we'll go to the bathroom. The valet is at the door of the bathroom. This is the drow elf, who nods to you as you arrive at the door. Edryn, how may I be of service?
He's just making a beeline to the sink, to a toilet.
Right.
And he's stumbling around a bit. He gets to a lavatory and he just starts retching into it.
Okay. All right. So Adrik, you arrive and the drow is standing there. How may I be of service to you, sir?
I'm just here to check on my friend. He's just in there, eh?
Just through the door, sir, on the right.
Thank you.
Very loud retching noises as you say, "Is he in there?"
Oh, there he is. There's just Edryn.
Yes.
I heard. Do you want to talk about it?
Haggard retches again.
Ah, there he goes. Get it all out.
Yes.
Just clear yourself. Adrik's going to turn to the drow. Could you leave us for a moment?
Hot towels.
Absolutely. And grabs them both and wipes himself down. Hands it back. Thank you.
More hot
Steve, that
towels.
was so worth it. I
will collect some more. I will be back.
That's fantastic.
He goes.
You know, Edryn, aside from the company, the service is fantastic here.
I wouldn't know.
Fair enough. I've got some towels. Can I come in?
He's fumbling at the latch he's trying not to look at, swings the door open, and he's just sitting on the floor, just like white face.
Adrik sits, like kneels in front of him and starts cleaning his face. There you go.
Thank you, but I think
that's okay.
I think I'll be.
No, not. Let me finish. I'll be sick there. That's a good lad. And he hucks it up the side of the door. All right. So, was that the booze or the news?
The news.
The booze. All right.
No, the news. The news.
The news. Oh, sorry.
The news.
You got blocked nose. Terribly sorry.
They.
Were there inklings before you left about that?
It's just another one.
And well, I was about to ask, how long ago was the first?
Almost.
Because you were a boy.
It would have been about 45 years ago.
Out of game.
And it's happened again.
Out of game, are you assuming there's another monster?
Yeah, well, he hears the word fish leviathan. People are getting sick from the scary ass thing, and he's like, ah!
Okay. You can make...
Adrik heard that and assumed the same thing too.
I'm just going to say that it is an assumption that it's a second one. I never said there was a second one.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, no. That's an assumption.
All right.
That's just where he's... Yes.
That would explain why there's been no news from God, where the hell are you from again?
Vanderhold.
That one.
I know it's a very forgettable place. I've been trying to forget it for however many years, however little time I've spent outside of it.
No, it's not forgettable. It's where you were raised.
It's a dull, dreary place.
Before you disparage yourself, and now after you've disparaged yourself, you were crafted there. You're one of the best men I know. So that doesn't count for nothing, all right? Now I'm not here to stroke your ego. I came to check on you. So it's just, I thought after my family completely fucked up the island, that would be the last of anything particularly bad happening there. But evidently not. Apparently there's rioting fishermen and disease and a giant fucking fish on the shore again. And the universe finds ways to fuck up everything, quite clearly.
And I don't know why I saw my son.
You what? You saw your son?
I had a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Peter. I've never dreamed of Peter before. I don't typically dream of stuff that hasn't happened, and I typically try to leave Peter out of everything I've ever done. Or whatever Peter's done, I try to leave myself out of it. And he was covered in mud.
When was the last time you heard about and or from Peter?
Last time I heard of him.
When did you have this dream? It wasn't last night, was it?
No, it was the night after our talk in Lithian. After we talked about I showed you the first one. I showed you the first one. He said fish, so I can't think it's maybe it's not the same thing.
Well, I mean,
but it's something.
He used the word Leviathan quite specifically, so I doubt it's a whale. So I don't mean to make things worse. Sorry.
Right. Oh God.
Perhaps
what if it has. Oh.
What do we know anybody that can? Would Adrik know about scrying magic?
Scrying magic. You can make an Arcana check, Adrik, to see if you know about scrying magic.
Double check that. That's a 15.
You've heard of it.
You're a wizard, isn't there a type of magic that lets you see things real far away?
That is currently beyond anything I can do. I could. There are spells that let me talk to people quite immediately, but again, I don't have anything like that.
Sure,
my letters.
Yeah, we can. What is it? Goodale's brother, cousin, one of them. I might know. We can ask.
The wizard.
Yeah. Surely he could. You two holding hands, or however magic works. You could get a hotline and see over there. Though I'm not sure you want to. You may have to.
I don't want to go back, Adrik.
So
I despise that place. I spent 50 years there hating myself, and it's dull and dreary, and the people are either terrible or just involved with themselves. There's very few people I think are genuinely nice there. But people are getting sick. There's another giant fucking fish, and I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go back. Don't want to, but I'm afraid. What if something's happened to Peter? What if something's happened to Maria?
You're my friend, Edryn, and you've got responsibilities. You may not want to go back. You're going to have to. And currently, you're probably the only person from Vanderhold that can fix this thing. But you don't have to go alone. We've killed ogres. We ran away from Katobla Pass, but we probably could have taken it. There's nothing you and I can't kill if we're not doing it together.
I don't know if it's killing. It's another thing that's washed up on the shore that is making people sick.
All right, so
I can't.
We get on a boat, we go out there, I get big, and I push it back to sea.
You saw they tried to do that the first time, and it just their head.
How many giants did they have?
None.
Damn right. How many do you have? Half. That's better than before. So.
They did have several ships.
Well, I'm not a ship, but we've at least got one. Look, we can... Just because it failed before, doesn't mean it will again. And this time, you're older, wiser, and more powerful.
God, am I older? Oh!
You're younger
I'm
than
50, and I feel like an 80-year-old man. I don't know what it is.
It's the booze.
I don't know why I feel so old. It's the way I've eaten. It's the way I just wasted my life sitting in a warm room with brandy and crab and doing nothing. And now that I'm doing something, I can't do anything because I'm unable to move properly. I can't move a wardrobe without becoming flustered and having to sit down because my head is dizzy.
Sure. But that was 45 years. What are you going to do with what's left? Next time you go down the street, look at every person you see and ask yourself, do they have the initiative to learn how to throw fire? Even your meekest spell. You are yourself taught, eh?
Yes.
How many people could do that?
Yeah.
So, pause there for a moment. We'll return to the dining room, where everybody is sitting about the table. And Goodale, your mother turns to you. She gets up from the table and she actually literally comes over and brings a chair. She doesn't bring a chair. She comes and sits at Edryn's chair, seeing as it's empty right now. And she says, "And so, my daughter, what news do you bring from Vaingate?"
Oh, well, actually, I've not been in Vaingate for some weeks.
Really? Where have you been?
Well, I had been working quite a lot, and my friends and I decided to,
Working, you say? What means this working?
Well, at the Temple, Mother, I do healing for the general population at the city gates.
How vulgar.
I find it very rewarding.
I'm sure you do, Goodale. You are a very special child.
Yes, so we just decided to go and travel a bit.
To travel a bit? Oh, how very nice for you. And you've enjoyed this travelling about with your companions, have you? She looks around at all of you and gives you this smile through her teeth.
Yes, very much, actually.
Excellent. And who might you be, she says, turning to you, Milford Brixton. Should we say Erdan?
My name Erdan. Erdan Windwalker.
Oh, I see. And where might you be from, Lord Erdan?
I be from Vaingate.
Oh, from Vaingate, the city of iniquity. Most excellent. And these are your companions then, Erdan, are they? Looks across to you, Leith.
Yeah, they my companion.
I see. And you all travel together as a troop, no doubt.
Depend what doing.
Ah, Goodale, she turns back to you and she says, I'm sure that if I had known that this was the type of thing that the Daughters of Twilight were going to engage you with, I'm sure I would have protested further at your connection to this group of heretics, honestly. Why do you feel such a connection to these people is beyond me. Your own family. You reject your own family to do these nonsensical acts of charity and goodwill. I'm sure they're very much appreciated by those that are involved. But your inheritance, Goodale, have you considered it?
My inheritance?
Of course. You and your family, you are a member of one of the most proud and noble families of Hemeth Tirith, and here you are dallying about with, forgive me, but with humans and half-elves, and thank goodness he's not here, that dwarf. What are you thinking?
Men are honourable. They are trustworthy.
Of course they are, Goodale. Of course they're trustworthy. They wouldn't be here if they were not. But you're dallying about with these low-born types. This is Hemeth Tirith. We have our reputation to withstand, to uphold.
Our reputation.
Do you not understand, Goodale, that our family mingles with the very royals of the highest blood here in Hemeth Tirith, that our names are on the air of the noblest of houses, said on daily account by the high councillors of Hemeth Tirith?
You do make it very difficult to forget, Mother.
I'm just so exasperated. And now our poor child taken from us. What a fool. What was he thinking? How did he get bound up with these types? She spits.
These types.
And now you. Come, Goodale, surely you're not going to go down the same path. My heart would break to see us lose you too to this sort of nonsense. Why will you not just follow in family tradition? It is expected of you.
Is it... What, get married to some vacuous dullard?
Now don't speak like that, Goodale. We have some very nice fellows on our horizons, looking out to see you. In fact, I was going to mention it, but perhaps I shouldn't. But we do have a number of potential suitors who would very much like to meet you, and you should be honored to meet them.
Well,
there's even an Erethanai among them.
Well, perhaps not tonight, as clearly I'm in mourning.
Clearly you are in mourning, but you have no right to be in mourning, Goodale. You weren't even here when it happened. You do not truly understand the circumstances. It was us that went through the upheaval of discovering that our own child, a boy that was brought into our household as a young child that we have raised, who we have shared our lives with, who we have trained.
Who raised him? Who raised him?
Oh, you're not going to argue with me now, are you, Goodale?
the way I remember it, you resented him from the moment he was brought into this house.
Resented him?
Yes, resented him.
You see Elandor stand up at the far end of the table. What is all of this commotion? What are you saying to your mother, Goodale? I hear a name that is not to be spoken.
There was no name spoken.
Good. The name shall not be spoken. Shame has been brought upon our household by that traitor. I will not have his name spoken of again. Do you understand?
Yes, Father.
Excellent. Very good. Now, what were you saying, Cousin Landor, of, what was it that you said? Oh yes, the Orcan war wagons are on the march. He turns to the fellow sitting next to him. Yes, my lord, they say that Kagi Mingle is on the rise. They say, according to the orcs, she has been sent to redeem the world. Redeem the world? What nonsense is this? How can an Orcan maiden redeem the world? Not just any maiden, my lord. She is a shield maiden among one of their most prominent tribes, said that she has already defeated 4 of the Orcan tribes, and is gaining supporters from all about the world, not just orcs, but disenfranchised female warriors everywhere, swarming to her. What nonsense is this? We shall have her put down immediately, I'm sure. Wait till word of this arrives at Evran's ears. The king will see to it. All right, back to you, Adrik and Edryn.
Have you got your stone on you?
At this point, Edryn has gotten himself up and is just pacing in the bathroom.
All right.
It's good you've got up. But how are you feeling?
A little bit lightheaded. Other than that, I'm getting there.
Have you got your stone on you?
Yes.
All right, good. Just hold that hand. Hold it close. Remember where it came from. The depths of the world, in a stone giant's tomb. Nary a thing sturdier than that stone. And then remember how you got there. You fought a Shusuva. You went through a storm giant's funeral home. Morgue, I guess. Think about everything you've done. How much it took you to get here. How much of 45 years you rebelled against to be here. You've come a long way from the man you say you used to be. But now, what comes next? Because you're not a little boy being married to somebody else. You're not a child being thrown into a school anymore. Now you have to choose.
Leith and Milford, can you make wisdom perception checks, please? Keep going.
Now it comes to a choice. And if I may offer this, you're gonna have to choose to meekly apologize to the world and accept its lashings, or are you going to stand back and be outraged? How dare it take what it has? How dare it take another whip to your back, to your kin, to your lands? These people rely on you. And I do too. And you can rely on me. And whatever you choose, you've got my support. But that's up to you. You don't have to choose now, because we've got shit to do in the city. But a choice has to be made.
Thank you, Adrik. I'll think on that. Thank you.
That's all right. Now, shall we go and see if we can squeeze any more booze out of this family.
Yes, I'd actually be quite interested in talking to Aelar. Apparently he plays dragon chess, and I haven't played against someone in a while. I know we played yesterday, but you didn't really know what you were doing because I'd
Nope.
teach you, and it was fun, but different experiences.
No, I'm still unfamiliar with how the griffin moves.
Yes, it's
The L shape.
I want to say nuanced, but it is a bit. Anyway, yes, I'm sure I'll do my best over time, but.
Nope, that's
good.
I'm
So
happy
you guys,
to learn, but
you guys return to the main hall, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, Milford and Leith, as they come back into the room, you see them entering the room. They're coming sort of left to right around towards your table to sit at their initial seats. You see that Goodale's mother has gone back to her table at this point, and Edryn's seat is now vacant. But you also see that the valet, who was at the door of the bathrooms, as they re-enter the room, the valet heads over towards the Supreme Commander, Elandor, Goodale's father, and whispers something to him. At this point, Goodale passes out. Oh dear. That's never good.
Oh, Leith will get up and put her into a...
No, it's fine, says Elandor. Let her family deal with this. We have much experience with this. And they have the servants carry her to another room.
This does happen often, and I think... is there any insight you can give us into how we can best assist her?
There is not a great deal one can do except to keep her comfortable. Sometimes she will sweat unduly. One should be careful to wipe her brow. She usually comes about within a few minutes. How often has this been happening, Lord Mr. Lath?
Quite infrequently. I would not say very regularly. And she does seem a little out of sorts when she comes to. But
has she spoken to you of anything that she has seen?
No.
Nothing specific. No.
Very well. Nothing specific. Anything inspecific?
Well, just that she does go into deep trance, or almost too deep.
And the lady sitting next to you, Leith. One second, and I'll grab her name again because it's disappeared. Vidania, Dana Talandaran. She looks over at you and she says, "Oh, is this the Goodale that's been having the fits?" Yes, says her brother. No need to mind that. Oh, how interesting. I've heard about her. Is she the one that has had visions? Was it of the goddess Sehenine?
Yes, that is her. It is nothing to be particularly ashamed of or worried about.
Oh no! Just fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating.
Oh yes.
And has she told you of these fits? She says to Leith.
She has begun to, but I can't admit to quite understanding what she's on about a lot of the time.
I see.
Yes.
And is there anyone special in your life, Lord Mr. Lath? She says, putting her hand on your hand.
I can't say that there is. And he grabs for the closest glass again and starts drinking.
She immediately, more wine. The pitcher comes across and they fill up your cup immediately. So Adrik and Edryn, you've returned, I assume?
Yeah, I'm back at my seat.
Yep.
Right, very good. And as you're having this sort of moment here, having just returned, Elandor walks over and sits down in Goodale's seat. Greetings, fellows. I was looking forward to having this moment to meet you all properly. You will forgive me that as a member of the High House here in Hemeth Tirith, one is quite busy with all manner of service.
Of course, running what you do must be quite taxing on the D.
Yes, very time-consuming it is, yes, I must admit.
It is a delight to meet you, my lord.
And you, Lord Mistralath.
Your daughter has told us much of you.
Oh, good. All good, I hope?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
She is a good girl at heart, I must say, despite her, shall we say, somewhat rebellious nature from time to time, but which child could you point to that has not been through such a difficult time?
Well, quite. Yes.
Yes. I did want to ask you all what you were doing upon the morrow.
Tomorrow.
I don't believe we had any plans.
For the festival, should I say, the Festival of the Wheel begins tomorrow, and in the morning we begin with the Wild Hunt, which I should like to invite you to assist. We shall be heading into the forest with a party of a hunting party, and we shall do the usual and traditional form of our ceremony, as it were, the Wild Hunt. Hopefully we'll bring back some stag or another, or perhaps several, to add to our feast. Further to this, I have had the opportunity to invite several members of our household to a feast tomorrow night, a second feast. This will be more official, and I believe it will be at the palace, which I should like to extend my invitation to you all, seeing as you are here presumably for such a short period of time.
I believe that would be most welcome.
We would be delighted, yes. Is our present apparel acceptable for for appearance before the court, or
well, you do have an excellent point there, Lord Mistralath. It might be worthwhile obtaining further assistance in this regard. I'm sure I can assist you by putting you in the hands of my dear Chamberlain Tia Cloudwalker can assist you if you wish. I will have clothes made for you upon the morrow, ready for the evening, if you just take your measurements before you leave tonight.
Yes.
That's most generous of you, sir.
Yes.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course. It is, I believe, the king's wishes to have the opportunity to meet all strangers brought into the city in one way or another as guests of our high houses. He's very interested in getting to know those of us who have influence over the families. Yes. I surely hope Goodale will be all right. Perhaps one of you will check on her.
Hey, me go see Lord, please.
Yes, Eldan, you may go have a look at Goodale.
Yeah, me go look.
Elandor looks at you, Milford, for a moment, and then he kind of looks away, sort of almost disgusted. Yes. Here comes the young lady herself, returning to the world. And Goodale, you return from a small room in which you've been placed upon a bed next to a servant who's been keeping your brow dry and keeping you alive and well. You've woken up in this small room surrounded by pillows and such, just off from the main dining hall. And so now you walk back in and you find that your father is talking to your companions, sitting in your chair. He's sitting in your chair, talking to them. And he stands. "Do forgive me, I will not keep you." He steps back. He pulls out your chair, Goodale. "Please, daughter."
Thank you, Father.
"I was just explaining to your companions that tomorrow there will be the wild hunt, which you of course will be attending, and following that, tomorrow evening after the festival concludes, there shall be a further feasting at the palace with the king. I'm sure you shall all enjoy an audience with the king." "Very well. Good night," he says. "And so, lords and ladies, I shall be retiring this evening as there is much work to do. I am most apologetic. Normally these events should go on for many hours. I myself must retire. Feel free to stay and enjoy the entertainment." And he retreats from the room. There's a lot of chatter from the various houses and high nobles and such sitting about. Over to you guys.
So, how's everyone feeling? That's quite a good assessment,
Time ago, my lady. Time ago.
Are you feeling a bit tired, Erdan?
No, you feel tired.
Oh, okay. Yes. I've taken a bit of a turn as well. So yes, you and I can absolutely go. And the rest of you?
Is there any dancing at these sorts of parties?
There would be. Yeah. Shortly.
Might stay for a dance.
All right.
Don't know who I dance with, but I might stay.
I'll keep Edryn company.
Right, so long story short, unless you want any specific scenes to happen or any particular things that you're looking to happen, we can say that those of you that wish to leave and return to your rooms at the Daughters of Twilight Temple may do so. Those of you that wish to stick around for a few dances. You meet some more nobles, you learn some more names. They can be filled in
I'm
later.
going to say that Leith gets drunk enough that he dances with Vidania.
Uh-huh. Does Leith end up...
Go on.
So here's the real question then. Does Leith end up making his way home or not? Does he end up at Vidania's villa?
Shall I roll a charisma check or saving throw on that?
Probably a saving throw, I think.
Yeah, I reckon a saving throw, homie.
I'm going to only use my point of inspiration.
Okay.
To make that an advantage.
All right. Well, please do begin.
Ooh,
14.
14.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make this a contested roll against her charisma. You would win this contest if you want to. I mean, basically, it's up to you, Leith. Do you want to go back to the Daughters of Twilight villa? Should we say quarters, or do you want to go to Vidana's villa?
He's interested enough to find out more about her.
Okay. Well, you know what you have learned so far is that she is a cousin of Goodale's. She's older than Goodale, quite a lot older than her. She's about 400 years old. She has significant estates.
So she's quite a bit older than me as well.
Oh yeah.
Right.
She's a cougar by Elven standards. This is all Goodale's. This is all Joanna's invention. I just like to add that. This is
quite outside of game as well. Outside of the thinking is that Leith will be interested in the money because of the recent thinking. So he's going to follow along.
Okay.
Yes!
He's a gold digger!
Yes!
So Leith's a gold digger. Is that what I've just discovered?
I think Leith might be. Yes.
Wow.
Just to see
I
where
love it.
the evening goes.
Okay. All right. Well, long story short, then, Leith, you spend the evening with her. All the things that might happen happen.
Okay. We'll
Go
leave it
on.
at that.
Ah!
You guys
We'll just fade that to black.
fade to black as you guys as you bond very deeply and spiritually, and yeah. So I mean, yeah, you don't have any sense of ill will from her or anything. You don't get the impression she's trying to manipulate you or anything like that. In fact, why don't you make an insight check just to see whether or not you do have that feeling?
What do you find out?
Insight.
What's the pillow talk?
19.
19. Yeah, you're pretty confident that she's just interested in you. You seem like an interesting person to her. And also the other thing, to be fair though, Leith, is that she doesn't seem to be extraordinarily serious about you. Like, it's not like she wants to marry you and start a family.
Yep.
This is quite casual to her, and she may do this sort of thing on a regular basis. Who knows? She's old enough and mature enough to do that if she wants. And
Leith is young enough and immature enough to
go along with it.
To see what happens and make the mistakes. So
right. Fair enough. So my question is Leith going to get his heart broken or not? That's part of this, isn't it?
I'm gonna roll a wisdom saving throw here.
That sounds reasonable. Hold fire. All right, go for it.
Sorry.
No. You go.
19.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, that's up to you.
I'm gonna say he learns a valuable lesson.
Okay.
The next morning.
All right.
But one that he wasn't that he was kind of expecting.
Okay. Well, so
he's heard stories.
Okay. So the thing is that she is more than willing to keep seeing you for now. So when you leave her apartments, her estate the next day in the morning, she makes sure that you're fed and everything, and that you have a coach take you back to wherever you need to go. And you have all the things that you need, and she sees you briefly and kisses you on the cheek before you leave, and she says, perhaps we'll see each other again.
This was quite lovely.
Right, and now you know.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and she sends you on your way. So, everybody else, you're back at the apartment that night, and Leith doesn't come home. But who was with Leith at the party who didn't immediately leave? There was Adrik and Edryn, right?
Edryn and Adrik stayed behind. Edryn got drunk enough that as the elves do the elf dance, he gets up and starts doing like Vanderholdian style, like squat dancing and stuff like that.
Edryn, I need to make
there's an elven song.
Wisdom perception with disadvantage for being drunk.
Yeah.
This is to notice whether or not you see Leith leaving with anyone.
Oh, at disadvantage between a 22 and a 4. That'll be the 4.
Oh, okay. You see Leith with that lady, but then you don't see them leave. Adrik, you want to make the same check, but you don't have disadvantage.
Yeah, because I don't think I would have drunk quite as much as Edryn because I'm watching him. So just perception check.
Yeah, just a perception check.
That's a gentleman's 20.
Oh. All right, well, you see Leith and Vidana preparing to leave earlier, and she's summoning the coach, and you see her leave with Leith.
Adrik has his face pressed against a window, and he's smiling. He's just grinning and watching.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Next morning, Leith comes home at a reasonable hour in the morning.
Adrik is sitting on the ground underneath the apple tree, and he's munching an apple, waiting.
Okay, so Leith, you come in, and Adrik is there as you come through the door to the apartments.
Leith is kind of trying to be quiet so as not to disturb Mostly Edryn, but those that might be sleeping in.
A loud, obnoxious crunch of an apple.
Ah,
Good morning, Leith. How was your night?
hello, Adrik. It was
Good.
rather interesting, actually. Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Do
I-
You
tell.
made a feast, friend.
I
You made a friend.
He made a friend, all right.
And Leith's demeanor kind of changes and goes,
All right, you lot.
and he smiles broadly and says, "Actually, yes, it was kind of wonderful."
So her name was.
Edryn kind of shivers a little bit at the thought. It's just like, oh.
Edryn, do you need to make a Constitution saving throw?
Yeah. 10.
A 10, you say?
Yeah.
Big fat 10. All right. It's not great. Not great. Is it the alcohol or the news?
It's
Yes.
As the
it's the alcohol mixed with the thought of the action, and he's just like, oh no.
But
He's
the-
just like
but
a
the-
little bit of acid reflux, and he's like, oh,
All right.
oh,
Fair enough.
lie
Alright,
down
so-
for a bit.
Dala,
Yes, Erdan.
do you think your dad's onto us?
Oh shit, the hunt.
Oh, aye, the hunt.
The hunt?
I
Oh,
think-
yes.
Your old man invited us to the wild hunt.
Well,
What's the worst that
Oh.
could happen?
We could all
Well,
get
I mean-
killed. That's the worst that could happen.
yes, the last hunt we know about, King Durian was killed by a collection of orcs that somehow,
Showed
killed
up.
him, but kept all the Blackguard people alive.
But also a good opportunity. For
Curiously enough,
evolution.
this is the anniversary of that time, 100 years ago.
Did you name this the Feast of the Wheel because of the tarot card? The Wheel of Fortune?
Now listen.
Do you imagine that I would ever consider that level
Yes.
of depth to my symbolism?
Of course he would.
Yes.
Now,
Sorry, carry on.
Now listen. I got a feeling we're going to be the hunt if we go to this hunt.
And if we don't go to it, we'll
That's-
still be the hunt.
That's the mess. That's the mess. That's the damn mess.
I
Okay,
think we should play our part.
we're gonna have to.
I
Maybe-
don't think I will.
You've got an alibi. You've got a hangover.
Yeah, I don't much like hunting, and unlike the rest of you, you can go with your various items and
Well,
be somewhat well off.
sans
You
several
can
items.
bring weapons. I can't. Yeah, you can bring weapons and armor. I can't necessarily bring a book and a stick because it'll be very obvious what's going on.
Fair.
And I
And
don't
I-
understand hunting. It's just running around killing things. I don't get it. I don't.
That's what we do, though.
And I'm just an idiot.
We'd kill things that try to kill us.
Also fair.
We're not killing things that are perfectly happy doing whatever they're doing.
Good point, Erdan. It would make sense for us to not bring you on the hunt.
So, Erdan and Edryn, what could you be doing while the rest of us are not performing for a house that is otherwise empty?
I could pick
Ju-
up your
just a
armor for
thought.
you.
Oh, I was being duplicitous, but that'd be nice, actually.
Oh, sorry. What were you duplicitously? I've got a hangover. Please
but-
continue with whatever you were saying.
No, I was suggesting that either of you could visit the house from last night and potentially information gather. It's just a thought.
But how will we know what happens to you lot?
Well, you wouldn't know either way, to be fair. Unless you watch from a distance somehow.
I think I agree with Adrik.
Ding ding! There's a ring at the door.
You go and take a nap. Adrik goes down and goes and opens the door.
There is a tall, blonde, female elven ranger standing in front of you. Her hair is cut to shoulder length, and she has brilliant green eyes, and you can make wisdom perception checks, those of you that are observing her presently. In particular, I think Adrik and Edryn. Yes.
9 for me.
9, okay. Well, Leith, you're not
9.
noticing too much. Milford. Milford, you don't notice anything. Edryn, you're away with the fairies, obviously not
Too
feeling very
hungover
well.
to look at the light.
That was a terrible perception check from everyone except for Adrik. Adrik, you notice that she has a small foxtail around her neck.
Ah, a friend I see. Come on in.
She steps in and smiles, slinging her bow across her shoulder.
A friend of yours, Adrik.
She puts it down in the corner.
Aye.
She extends a hand to you, Kyriel, she says to whomever is right in front of her.
Adrik shakes hand, because I imagine he'd be walking in with her.
I've been sent here to assist your party with the hunt, preparations, etc. I am one of the rangers of the guard.
Kyriel, you're vaguely familiar. Did we
I am
eat
not
in
familiar to
Lithlia?
you at all, Mr. Fogdar. That would be impossible. I have been in Hemeth Tirith the entire time.
Oh, apologies. A lot of you elves look very similar to me. Must
We
have been
do.
someone akin to you.
I'm sure that it was someone else.
Aye. Terribly tactless of me. I'm so sorry.
So I have been told to take you to the storerooms to assist you in the application and acquiring of bows and quivers, arrows, knives, etc. We shall be bringing the dogs from the kennels. However, I understand today's hunt will be a more traditional hunt, which I am very happy to say. Won't be the sordid affair that we have come to expect of late.
Sordid affair. Could you elaborate? Because it was under my impression from our invitation that it was deer we'd be hunting. Or is that irregular?
She looks around the room and she says, "Do you have ale or mead here? I am parched and it is early."
Edryn, do you have any
Please sit
emergency
down.
ale?
I shall call for some. And
In the
Goodell-
dresser.
No, in the dresser.
Adrik toddles over to the dresser.
All right. So you get her a glass of something, I assume. What was it going to be? Ale or is it going to be mead or what? What do you got?
What you got, Edryn?
What do you got, Edryn?
I have very small remnants of Vanderholdian brandy left.
All right. Oh, thank you, she says. Very good. Yes, I mean sordid affair, as in, she takes a swig. Last few years, I've watched the decline of our traditions as we have gone from a somewhat spiritual approach to our hunting parties to a more wholesale slaughter. You'll notice when you get to the king's palace, the tables will be rife and filled with all manner of meats and birds, game of all sorts. There is no consideration now made for our friends of the forest.
Ah, I see.
Our traditions
So how-
are being eroded. She looks at you, Leith. You would understand.
Wholesale slaughter? I'm not so sure.
Perhaps you wouldn't understand. Never mind. I thought merely that you seemed to be a wood elf, so I thought perhaps you would have an understanding of the deep scars that the current regime leaves upon our culture.
Well, I don't see that any justification for the mass slaughter of poor innocent creatures.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean.
Oh, well, yes. Then I quite agree.
I thought you might. In any case, you should pack your things now. We need to get going.
Brilliant.
She opens the door.
Um,
Come on then, you lot. We don't have long.
just declaring that Adrik does not have any of his magic items on him. He's just got his chainmail, shield, and warhammer and axes.
Okay, this warhammer that you speak of. This is his.
It's my very first warhammer. It's the baby one.
Right. Okay. No magic.
Rather than my hammer of thunderbolts, which I'm leaving behind.
Leith then does have his glamored leather armour on.
He
That's
does?
it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Have you learned nothing? Come back here, you.
He's been wearing it all through the. He wore it all
feast.
through
He was too.
the feast as well. Yeah.
You're lucky they didn't see the damn thing.
Are you all
Nothing.
coming or what? She
It's
says.
very much in plain sight, Milford, and I'm using it purely as decoration for my attire.
Did you have this armor last night?
Yes, I did.
It must have been hard to get off, was it?
That's none of your business, Milford.
It looks like it's.
Maybe she liked it.
That's a really good question, actually. What happened with that?
That's none of your business, DM.
Fair enough. I take it back.
That's not your business, God.
I take it all back. I'll assume you found a way.
We'll keep that between us off stream. Thank you
right.
very much.
Very good.
Are you thinking with the wrong head or something? Do you want to get us killed?
No, Milford, but I might.
Oh,
I
just
might
say Milford a little bit louder so the whole world can hear it.
We're in private quarters. I think I can call you Milford.
Carriel
You
steps
don't-
back inside and closes the door.
Oh. Oh.
It's magic. Get it off.
Oh, but this is.
If Vandanya's there again
I-
today, she will feel the exact same in whatever you're wearing.
That's a very good point.
Leith struggles out of it and puts it into the goes to the chest, opens the chest, opens the bag of holding, and puts it in and says, "Glamored leather armor. Are you happy?"
All right.
I'm very happy. Now get moving.
So now I look like I look terrible.
Carriel takes another swig of ale.
I'm sure if your lady friend is there, she's gonna think you look gorgeous in anything.
Adrik pats him on the flank. You
I
look
hate to
mighty
tell you,
handsome,
lads and
Leith.
ladies, this, but we really are running out of time.
Aye. Kirill, two of our number are staying.
What?
Erdan the Simple and my friend Edryn, he's got the mighty hangover, unfortunately.
Eridan the Simple, she looks at you, Milford. Really?
I am. I am.
I see. Well, I suppose. Very well. And Edryn, you're not feeling very well. That's a pity. I have something for you if you wish to recover.
Yes, please, but also hunting is not my forte. It's not my scene.
Well, sir, she says, patting your shoulder, there's always now to learn. I can supply you and furnish you with all of the equipment.
It's not the lack of skill, it's the lack of interest in tracking down and killing an animal.
Then there is the lack of etiquette, Mr. Montcoff, that would be seen to arise. I mean, if the simple one doesn't want to come, that's understandable. He might cause any number of issues. He could in fact end up getting shot by accident.
Exactly.
You, on the other hand, Lord Montcoff of Vanderhold, this will seem most strange to those nobles paying attention that you wouldn't be there. Are you
Less.
intentionally
Less.
trying to
True.
insult our lord?
True, but someone should stay to look after the simple lad. If he's going to be a problem there, he's going to be a problem here.
But, very well. You've made your case.
No, I think she's got a point.
Are you ready then? The rest of you?
Rest of us, I'm ready.
Yes. Quite ready.
She opens the door. Then let us go. Okay, so long story short, and I'm really just going to narrate this rather than play it out because it's not a scene that requires too much interaction per se. Essentially what happens is you guys collect up with a group of soldiers and lords and ladies from the house of Talandaran and some other houses together, and you go down into the forest, and you meet up with a fellow who apparently, to the great disdain and distaste of various members of the households. In fact, you can make insight checks here, please.
Yeah.
But you hook up with some druids.
17.
Ooh, crit 21.
16.
Right. Well, the crit 21, Adrik, you come to the conclusion, you realize pretty quickly that some of these lords and ladies are faking their disdain, and there is a little bit of tension between the Black Guards who are present and Lord Talandaran, Elandor and his some of his household, and some of the other nobles around, especially any wood elves that are present. And they split up into groups, and it is made apparent to you that your group that you are going with is with one of these druids, actually. And Cariel takes you along with this druid. You don't learn his name, unfortunately. But you go off into the forest, and you track down this elk. And the elk that you find, you see the druid go forth and befriend the elk, talk to the elk, discuss its fate, apologize to it, and there's this very spiritual bond that occurs between the druid and the elk before the elk surrenders to the hunt, and then the elk runs, and then the party chases it and hunts it down, and it gives its life for you guys, to the party. And as this is going on, Cariel explains each step of the hunt in a way that makes some sort of sense, in so much as it's designed to keep things in nature and harmony and balance with that. And it's quite touching if you want it to be.
Up until those words, Leith is a little bit like standoff and kind of disapproving.
Yeah.
And when he starts talking about bring things into balance and harmony, Leith kind of opens up to the ideas of what's going on here, and
right,
like starts realizing that this is the value of this, the ritual that's here and involved.
Right. You also, yes, Goodale.
Would Dalla be familiar with this process from her earlier years?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think she probably is familiar with the overall gist of it. And the idea also that the elk will probably reincarnate as another beast of the forest. If not, if it's very lucky, it might even, move forward into another incarnation. Who knows? But it doesn't seem to be the end as far as anybody here is concerned for the elk. This is the elk's giving up of this particular flesh, and it's making that sacrifice for a cause. On the other hand, when you guys gather back together again with the rest of the hunting parties from the other houses, you see that some of the other houses, particularly those heavily influenced by the king and his ways, come back with all manner of animals, and they're all kind of butchered and dripping, and some of them not even properly killed, and very far away from, anything like what you guys have experienced. And so there's a stark contrast between the ways of the druids and the ways that this ranger that you're with does things here in the forest, and the ways that the city folk, particularly under King Evran's reign, go about slaughtering animals, and far more than they need to. You guys only collect as much food as you need between you, and this is the food that you are literally going to consume. Like, you are going to consume this food, not anyone else. So yeah, that's the short story of where this goes, and eventually you go back to the city.
So it's not just specifically for the table; it's specifically for our group.
Yeah, for your part of the table. Yeah,
right.
I mean, you are able to share it if you wish. You can put it forward as to be shared, but it's first and foremost, it's you hunted it, you eat it, and that's how it works traditionally. And this is all explained to you. In the meantime, Edryn and Milford, what have you guys been doing?
How long have they gone for?
They're gone for about 4 or 5 hours. It's quite early in the morning when this all kicks off.
Okay. For the first hour, Edryn is he's gonna be displaced for an hour. He's kind of gonna wander the courtyard,
right,
and consider doing things. He'll sit down for a bit with the intention of reading something, and then he'll get up and decide to go have a look out the window, get bored after a minute. And then after that happens, after he's kind of aimlessly bored for an hour, he's going to sit down and he's going to copy a spell into his book just to keep himself occupied, because he's doing that thing where he's like, I don't want to go to this thing because I won't have fun, but I didn't have any other plans for the day, and now I need to think of something to do.
Right.
So he's gonna copy a spell into his book just to keep him occupied.
Right. Milford, what are you doing while this is all going on?
I'm gonna go and get the armour.
You're gonna go and get the armour?
Thank you, Barry.
Might as well. I've got nothing better to do.
Hang on, whose armour? You're gonna get Adrik's armour?
Yeah.
Do you think that the dwarves are gonna hand it over to you?
Well, they saw me with him.
Yeah, nah. They're not going to give you the armour.
The DM's got to let him try. Don't say no.
Yeah, well, I'll let you try. You can try. But I'm just saying, did you think that they were going to give it to you? Okay, well, you go down to the part of the city.
I'm assuming they saw me with him.
All right, so you get to the armory, into the blacksmiths, and they see you come in. And
wonder if you could tell me if my lord's armour is ready, Adrik.
He's your lord, is he?
Mm.
His armour is indeed ready. You can tell him so, and he can return and pick it up himself.
Okay. Can you make me something?
I can make you something. What are you looking for, young man?
He describes a thin tool that he gives a sketch of it.
Oh, you're not looking for armour. I thought you were looking for a suit of plate like Adrik's.
No,
just a tool.
Just this tool here.
Hey, laddie, he calls out to one of his apprentices, and he says, fix this fellow up. He wants some kind of a tool, I believe. He'll explain it to you. And so the long story short is that, Milford, you explain this to the apprentice, and the apprentice makes you this tool. It's going to take some of the rest of the afternoon, or the rest of the morning.
He's got nothing to do. He'll sit there.
He says, you want to be finished with all of that in about 2 hours when the hunt is finished, because the festival begins.
Can you finish in 2 hours?
He's going to try, lad. He's going to try. He's going to do his best.
Okay. How much of the gold?
Oh, you can have it for free. Your master's already paid us through the nose. Don't tell him I said that.
I know, remember what you say.
Right. So they build this tool, and eventually they hand it over to you, and you get back in time. The rest of the party finishes your hunt, and you are relieved to go back to your quarters, where you have an hour to prepare before the festival.
Just on our way back, friends, would you mind if I, just on our way back to our lodgings, if I just stopped into the blacksmith and picked up my armor? I don't want it to be left during the feast.
Yes, I'm very excited to see what it looks like, Adrik.
Oh, yes, of course,
me
Adrik.
too. I can't wait.
All right. So, Adrik, you go back to the blacksmiths.
God, what were their names again? Shit. Sorry, 1 second. Helgrit.
Aye.
I'm back for my armor.
Oh, you're singing. I see. Your friend was
I'm
in here
excited.
earlier. You're assistant of the soft in the head lad.
Oh, Erden. Oh, yeah, the lad means well. Aye. You didn't give it to him, did you?
No, don't be ridiculous.
Oh, because I'd only half paid you.
That's right. You owe me some money, I believe.
I do.
2,500 gold.
I do indeed, and he, shuffles the rest of the amount onto the counter.
Oh, that's very good.
Very good.
Yes, like that. Nice. Stack them up high. Yes, higher. Yes, that's it. 2,500 gold. That's very nice. Thank you, Mr. Frogdar.
Spectacular.
Now,
I.
Would you like to be fitted with your armor right now, or are you going to take it home with you?
I'll take it home with me because we'll be going to the feast, and it's probably unseemly to be turning up in armor.
Oh, well, but it's so new. Don't you want to show it off?
You've twisted my arm.
I mean, if anyone asks you, you can say, well, I'm a dwarf, and from this is a Banakayan tradition. They won't know the difference.
Yeah, that's a mighty fine point.
I know, I am full of them.
Well, your store's full of them. Aye.
So this chest here is coming free with your armor. We like to supply a nice fine box for you to keep your set in.
Spectacular.
She moves it up onto the table and opens it up. There you go. And glistening within is this suit of full plate dwarven armor, which you can add to your character sheet, which will now put your armor class into fucking ridiculous.
Yes, it will.
Oh my god, I can't believe what I've just done to myself. What a fool.
Let me see. Let me just load this thing up so I can tell you.
He's going to stick it onto D&D Beyond now, and we're going to find out what armor class Adrik now has with full plate. I'm terrified.
No more acrobatics for me. I'll just stand behind him.
Right.
We all will.
With my shield, that's an AC of 23.
23.
Holy shit!
I am currently over my carrying capacity, so I've got to offload some shit.
Right. Okay, so
Edrik is a wall.
Adrik is a short wall. You better hope that shit.
He's like Hadrian's wall.
Russell?
Yes.
Sturdy but short.
I'm going to be working on the thing back in the room. See if that tool works now.
Right. So what are you're just basically trying to find out what happens if you can open that door?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Milford, you're going to need to make a sleight of hand check. Or pick locks check. It's pick locks, not sleight of hand. It's +6. Looking at your sheet. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, come on. Go.
Go.
You stupid thing. Oh, come on. Be good. Russell, can you do it?
I can do it. Here we go.
Ah.
And that's a very strong 12. On my end, I don't know why it's not coming up on the sheet properly for some frickin' reason. There we go. It's a 12. So with the correct tools and what have you, you find that it just won't move, even though you're messing around with it and you've spent some time with it. It's not the tumblers or whatever it is that's holding it there it's stuck.
Okay. It might be aged.
It might have been aged. It might have rusted stuck. It might have just never been used for decades.
Yeah, that's what I figure. Okay. So I'll find some oil.
Brixton, what are you doing in my room?
I'm playing with your doorknob.
Right.
Well,
Is it
not his
any
doorknob.
success?
Fair.
Not yet. Cause you won't shut up. How am I supposed to hear the drop of the lock if you won't shut up?
Apologies, but it is my room, and I am currently trying to study, so hearing it does often distract one as one is fiddling with my bathroom.
I'm sorry, your lordship. Please forgive me. Well, how dare I come in here and click while you're busy studying? Well, I'll just go outside and wait for you to stop studying, and then I'll come and click again.
Yes, thank you, Brixton.
Yep. You didn't think I meant that, did you?
No, but I thought I'd take my chances.
Just give me 5, will you?
No, you take your time, Brixton. I do appreciate the work.
Have you got any oil on you?
Let me check. Equipment.
If you don't want anyone coming through that door, you could always apply elephant glue. Or rather, what is it called? The stuff that you've got? Sovereign glue.
No, sorry, Brixton. Can you see to the other side of that door? Is there a crack large enough to be able to see through, or is it just barely visible?
It's dark. Well, you got dark vision.
Listen, I can see it, but the trouble is it's rusted and old. It's a bit like you.
So you can see
like
through
you,
to
rusted and old.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Brixton. Yes, that's definitely good for the ego. Can you see through to the other side of the door?
The other side.
Through the...
No, I can't. What do you think I am, an eagle?
I didn't know if you could see through the crack and see at least just a little bit of the entrance, a little bit of the corridor.
No, Leith is the only one that can see through a crack now.
Okay. All right. Oh. Right. Oh. Have we shifted around?
Rude.
What's rude? I'm doing my work. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Because if we are able to see to the other side, I might be able to get in.
Oh, you might be.
Yeah. But if there's no way to see into the corridor, then I'm afraid I'm once again unable to help.
Right, Russell, can I try again? Now I'm touching with stuff.
You can try again. All right. Do you need me to roll again?
No, I think I got it this time.
All right.
I think I got it this time, you bastard.
Pick locks. Here we go.
And...
Oh!
5.
Far out. Okay. Click. It opens.
I got it.
It rolls to the side. Clearly it's on rollers. And it's a big heavy stone section of wall that have been placed on these tiny little rollers along the floor that allow it to just glide like a silent thing.
Come in and have a look at this, will ya? Of course it worked. It's me.
Come touching over. Well, it wasn't working before. I just thought I'd ask.
Ooh,
Right, it's very...
bit grumpy today, aren't we?
There's a lot of cobwebs and spiders.
I was about to say, it's very cobwebby in there.
You should get to doing what Leith's been doing. You'd feel better about yourself. Okay.
Trust me, I won't. That kind of stuff is...
Leith's an example to us all. We
that's a
don't
way of
like the
putting it.
cobweb thing. No. You want to go in first? Stealthy as you are.
Yes, maybe you should go in first and I'll come up the rear. How about that?
Would you mind rephrasing that?
You go in first and I'll cover the behind.
That's no better than last time, but anyway, I'll get going.
I'm going to cast dark vision on myself so I can see.
Alright.
You know, I guess we shouldn't be doing this. It's not exactly our temple, is it?
No, but it is our rooms, so I think it's alright if we're a little bit curious. And to be honest, it wasn't our treasure that we stole, but we took it anyway.
Right, so what are you guys doing at this point? My camera's frozen again.
How old and ancient does it look inside?
Pretty old and ancient, to be fair.
But let's keep going.
Yes.
We can hide our stuff in here, you know.
Well, let's find the other end. I don't want to be giving it willingly to somebody else who's going to be sulking around here.
Okay, let's go then.
So yes, let's have a wee peek. Also, Brixton, I don't think I've ever said this, but I do really appreciate how you took me on in Vaingate.
Oh, it was no trouble, my friend.
I mean, we don't really talk much. This was as we're going through, and he's just looking at the cobwebs. We don't talk or interact much, and I just wanted to say thank you for essentially being my first friend in Vaingate.
So as you go in, first of all, it's not very high, so you have to bend down quite far to get into this thing, and it leads to a tunnel that's about 4 feet high and about 3 feet wide, full of cobwebs and sticks and other shit that's blown in here over the years.
Be careful, we don't want to fall now.
And you get to the end of this tunnel, and it comes out in a slightly wider, slightly taller corridor.
Oh, thank God. Oh, it's getting a little bit of a cramp.
And there's water running along the floor here. It's very dark. Up ahead you can see some sunlight coming through some cracks. And as you travel along this thing, you realize that every few meters there is another secret door entrance that's more obvious on this side than it ever was on the other side, that you can assume lead into other little insular apartment blocks like the one that you guys have.
Can you make a mental map in your head?
I can just make some notes. How about that?
Altogether, there are 8 of these secret doors before you get to a 9th door that is a bit different to the others and has steps leading down to it.
Oh, now this is getting touchy-feely like, you know. Okay.
Isn't we should be very careful, touchy-feely, or Leith touchy-feely?
No, not leaf touchy-feely.
Oh, but that was rather good. I don't usually make cracks about that.
Oh, that was very good. I'll keep that in my
Thank
mind.
you. I don't typically make jokes. I was never the funny one in my family. There wasn't a funny one in my family, but I was never one.
That was very funny. You know, that was very funny. I'm glad Nate didn't hear it. Could he do that whole, oh my God, you know? Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
I just realized we haven't had a little adventure, just the two of us, since those first few days in Vaingate.
I know
Brixton.
the other lot have ruined it, haven't they? Now, okay, should we, if we get to a door, should we open it?
I don't trust the scary downward stare.
No, I don't.
We should at least have a look and see where the other doors go.
We might pop in on some women taking a bath or something.
We'll listen, and if it sounds like they're taking a bath, then we'll leave.
That's a good idea. Let's go then. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay,
Okay,
so you've got
go.
8. So the 9th door is the door that leads to the stairs. There are 10 doors altogether. The first door is your door, right?
All right. Ah, yes.
So the first door is your door. The 10th door is the down the stairs door, and the other 8 doors are all in a circle leading back to the original door.
What do you think?
Well, the methodical in me says that we should go left to right in a circle, avoiding the 9th door. However, I'm extremely cautious. I'm extremely curious to see where the door directly opposite us goes in that complete opposite direction. So it's either we follow our base instinct, or we try to do this as logically as possible.
Wait here for a couple of minutes, will you?
Okay.
Just wait here, I'll be back.
All right.
Alright.
All right.
What are you doing?
I quickly go back,
Yep.
get myself a glass.
Uh-huh. A
And
glass?
go-
You mean a cup? Because glass is not something that there is
It
much
doesn't
of.
exist?
Not much glass in the world.
Okay.
There's stained glass, there's certain things like that, but glass is very, very precious. There's a few bottles made of glass, vials that can be made of glass, potion bottles, that kind of stuff, but it's very precious, and you don't have just like... Glasses like this are just not sitting around on tables. It's like cups made out of ceramic.
So I can't find a one in the room or anything like it.
You could find a goblet, or you could find a metal, what would you call it, a tankard.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it easy to hear what's on the other side of the wall then.
Not so much.
No. That's what I'm looking for. Some way to hear what's on the other side of the wall.
Some sort of one of those little hearing horns
Yeah,
that
yeah,
older
yeah.
gentlemen use.
Yeah,
I'll conjure a hearing horn.
Okay.
What do you use to conjure a hearing horn?
I use my feat, my conjuration feat that allows me to conjure an inanimate object that is no bigger than 3 feet in width or diameter and is less than 10 pounds.
Wow. All right. Does that cost any spell slots or anything like that?
No, it's just basically I can make a inanimate item like some basic piece of equipment appear that's no bigger than 3 feet and it lasts for an hour. And
Wow.
it disappears if I try attack something with it.
Right.
So
okay.
if we throw it at a creature and it hits it, it
Oof.
disappears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so you now have a hearing horn.
Here you go, Brixton. You're a lot more perceptive than I am.
All right. All right. Some wouldn't say that, you know. I think you're very perceptive. Okay.
Yes, but my hearing's a bit off.
All right. So Milford, you're going to make a investigation check.
Yeah. A
13. Okay, so the first of the 8 doors, you can hear some talking going on behind it.
Is it good, juicy talking, or is it just crappy talking?
It sounds like nonsense. It sounds like people talking about where to put their luggage.
There's some people moving in there. I whisper all this, by the way.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. All right. So you get to the second door. You want to make another investigation check.
Oh, God, I don't know. What's he doing? No, I don't get anything.
You can't tell. You might be overhearing the noise from the other door. It could be echoing
Okay.
in here. So let's go to the third door.
Oh, the third door. I like the look of the third door.
14. All right. You can hear another discussion happening in here about where to put furniture. Funnily enough, sound like high-pitched elven voices.
Okay, not interesting.
Any luck, Brixton?
No, they're talking about furniture.
All right. Well, I'm going to go down that far one over there and see if I can have a listen.
Do you want to take the horn?
Yeah, I'll take the horn.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll go over to... I'm trying to do math here. I'll go over to the 5th door.
All right.
Okay, don't go in now. Just listen.
I'll just have a listen, don't worry. Is that an investigation check?
It is. It is.
26.
Oh, wow. Okay. You hear... You hear something to the effect of, we're going to need to move 3,000 from here back to Vaingate. This is, really, we cannot be carrying this all around. the temple there needs this more than we do. I think it is pertinent that you ship this on the next possible caravan out of here. We know that there are troops coming from Dagdagiel. It's extraordinarily important that we make provision to supply our people in Vaingate. Solanor Temple must not fall. We cannot have Solanor Temple falling into the hands of the Dagdagiel or the Barakyle envoy. We've already had a breach of our property due to those... And you hear some mumbling. And then you hear the conversation moves from that room into another room.
And I start tottering down the hall. I'm like, Brixton!
What?
Brixton!
What? What?
Gentlemen or people, in
Sounded like a lady.
A lady in room 5 was talking about moving 3,000 of something to the Solanor Temple in Vaingate because they were afraid that the Dagdagiel or the Barakyle were going to do something that would make the Solanor Temple fall. I think the people in room 5 wait a second. Did that voice sound like Aelar?
Could have been.
That might be one of the Daughters of Twilight room. They were talking about reinforcing the Solanor Temple, and I feel like if there's Daughters of Twilight here, it's probably going to be them. It sounds like they're really worried about the Dagdagiel Barakyle stuff going down in Vaingate.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, we can't do nothing about it now.
No, but I think it's... Well, I mean, if it does seem a bit more dire, it's almost as if they're expecting Vaingate to not be able to put up a fight, if you know what I mean. Trying to mitigate an already disastrous event rather than trying to prevent it, you know? Kind of left it in a bit of a pigsty back there.
So out of game, the rest of you guys come back from the hunt. Adrik, you make it back to the apartment. Leith, everybody comes back to the apartment, and if you look around, you'll discover that the secret door is wide open, and Milford and Edryn are nowhere to be found.
So it looks like the boys have managed to get in.
It would appear.
Shall we?
Indeed we shall.
One moment. Adrik's gonna wander over to the bag of holding and drop his chainmail inside, and then rejoin.
Right.
What do you think is down there?
Dragon?
Oh.
No, it's probably.
Spiders, but not the big ones.
Or maybe the big ones.
Edryn and Barry, Brixton, you can make perception checks. This is to see whether you hear these guys talking up the other end of the corridor, and whether their talking is going to interfere in your spying. Well, Edryn, you're busy. You're in the middle of your speech, I think, about...
In the middle of my conspiracy theory.
Yeah. All right, and Brixton, that was a pick locks check, mate.
Oh, but it was good. Can I have it?
No, it says perception for me.
Does it?
No.
Does
That
it?
was
Yeah.
perception.
All right,
That
hold
was
on, hold on.
perception.
Oh,
That's
wow.
perception.
17. That is a great roll. Sorry, I was looking at the numbers coming up on the actual chat log thing from D&D Beyond. Never mind. My excuses are lame. 17. Yeah, okay, Brixton, you definitely hear their voices, the voices of your companions specifically.
Will you wait there?
Recognize their voices.
I shoot back up again.
All right. You trot back around the corner and along the hall, and you get back to the low tunnel
Yep.
that goes back to your room, or back to Edryn's room. Edryn's room.
When I catch up with them, would you shut up? I can hear you from down there.
is down there?
Lots of rooms. Come on. We can't.
Edryn goes,
Ooh.
I'm not sure I want to go down there.
Gonna wake the dead.
Okay, let's go now.
All right.
Hey, Robin. Come on, let's get going.
Adrik's probably gonna bring up the rear, I think. But she's got noisy ass plate. God damn it.
And no peeking from you, Mr. Leith. All right.
What?
Yeah, we know your reputation now.
No peeking at what?
Yeah. Okay, this way.
the ghosts find you attractive, Leith.
But stop this teasing.
Leith, shut up.
I love this like subtle gaslighting.
You guys are terrible friends.
Okay.
This is like every friendship I've had, to be fair.
Explains a lot.
Yes. You're a friend. Russell.
That's true. That's true. Isn't D&D just gaslighting your friends, though? It's like license to gaslight.
Hey,
This is true.
Leith,
Gaslighting with dice.
Leith,
Yes, Milford.
you can speak dragon, can't you?
Dragon.
You can speak dragon, can't you?
I start
No?
whispering things in Draconic.
Perception, alertness, wisdom perception for everyone, please.
Okay, we shouldn't clown
Elaborate
around
Frank's
here.
gonna fuck us. 22.
19.
19.
Oh, wisdom. That's way up the top, isn't it?
Well, perception. It's a perception check, Barry.
Ah,
Okay.
well, I can already give you the answer to mine.
Goodale, what are you doing to...
Gadale is trying to find Leith's hand in the dark, but she's
20!
20? Wow, okay.
I think it's a gentleman's 20.
Gentleman's 20, it is.
17
Plus
plus 3.
Yes. All right, very good. So those of you with those exceptionally high rolls, everyone except basically Goodale, hears a door go like the sound of air.
Sure, that's fine.
Like from
Sure.
the direction that we came.
Well, given that the tunnel, that you don't know this at this point, but the tunnel that you're in is a ring. It's a rectangle, and the air moves around it in a circle. So does the sound. So any sound coming from any particular point, it's hard to discern exactly where it's coming from, and the air moves in both directions too. So you're not sure where it comes from.
Right. Okay.
Although to be
Edryn's
fair,
too
you did roll
focused.
some very nice dice there. So I suppose it would be fair to say that it seems to be coming from that door over there. Coming from the left and around the corner,
Okay.
away from the place where you've just come from.
Edryn
you
was
are,
too
Leith.
busy whispering in Draconic, trying to say something spooky, but he doesn't realize no one can understand him.
Right.
Yes, I'm here.
It's okay, right? We're just catching up with the fellows,
Yes.
and they're just messing with you.
I know. Yeah, they're being quite stupid about it. Yeah.
What's all this then? You see this figure steps around the corner.
Oh,
You see this torch come out, this flaming torch on the end of an arm. What's all this? You see this silhouetted figure now. Your eyes are adjusting. Who are you?
Oh,
I'll ask you the same question.
You can't be in here.
We are though.
Get out! This is not for
Sorry,
you.
Goodale. You were about to say something. That was apologies.
it's all right. I was just going to say we were exploring an interesting room feature.
An interesting
It was
room feature. You're not supposed to be in here at all. Get out. Did you come
well, it's
through
in
from
our
the back of your
lodgings.
door?
Yeah, it's in our lodgings. Why wouldn't we be here?
That door was locked. It's been locked for Decades.
And now it's open.
Well, what do you think you're doing? Are you spying on our guests?
What do you think you're doing? Are you spying on us?
I'm protecting the welfare and well-being of those guests that stay in this lodging. What do you think you're doing? I'm Wilfred. I'm one of the groundskeepers here. You are supposed to be in your room.
Apologies.
You are
Apologies,
our...
Mr. Wilfred.
What?
We were afraid that people were spying on us, and so came through to ensure we were
That
not
they
being
weren't.
spied upon. We didn't mean to reverse the
Reverse spy.
the roles of. Yes, we didn't mean to inadvertently pry. We were just curious that we were being spied upon and that our privacy was being infringed upon. But as you said,
I haven't been in this place for near on 20 years till I heard your voices coming from behind through the wall.
Can we hide things here?
No, Erdan, we've been very bad. We should be hiding things here.
Enough. Get out.
All right,
sorry,
friends, let's
Mr.
go.
Winfred. I apologize, Mr. Winfred. Anything I can do to make this up to you, I'm happy to do so.
Well, we will talk about that, Mr. What's your name?
Montcoff.
Montcoff. Very well, Mr. Montcoff. You will find me down in the steward's quarters and we will talk about an exchange.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, and don't imagine that this won't go to the very heights of the Daughters of Twilight. They will hear about this.
Yes, of course.
Back through your door.
Yes, let's go. Come along then.
And he shuts the door behind you as you go back, pouring back into Edryn's bedroom or bedchambers.
He turns
Door is sealed
to
behind you.
Brixton, and he says, "Ooh, I felt rather young then. I felt rather. That was quite. I apologize, Leith, but you must understand, I was never like that as a boy, and so a little bit of mischief has been missing from my life, and I thought I would try my hand at it, and I rather enjoyed the thrill of spooking. Quite like that, actually.
It's quite all right. I just didn't quite understand what was going on in the moment. It's you get your humor where you can, Mr. Edryn, because I know it's possibly few and far between.
Thank you, Leith.
Hey, Edryn, do you want to Sovereign glue his door shut?
That, I think, would be a last resort if we can't ingratiate ourselves with this man.
I was just thinking for fun, but that's a good point.
Fun, yes, but I feel like he might.
How could he possibly know?
Well, if the door was opening one day and it wasn't opening the next, that would be a little bit suspicious. But at the same time,
it wouldn't be the nicest thing to do, though, would it? I mean,
no, exactly. And I don't think
door shut, or is this some kind of humor?
Hypothetical prank,
hypothetical prank.
Oh yes, I see. Yes,
the thought is more the humor than the doing. There's no real intention.
But that idea,
right,
is not misplaced, I think.
Explain your reasoning.
If we need to, if something goes south, we can use these tunnels to get out, and if we need to buy us some time, a little bit of sovereign glue might not go amiss, and then by the time they do get the tunnel door open, we will be in another room or somewhere completely other and long gone.
That's a mighty fine idea.
That was my way of thinking too.
There's another bell ring.
Oh my god, I hate that bell.
This time it's the city bells, signifying the beginning of the Festival of the Wheel.
Well,
what's that mean? Someone come in for jam or something?
party starting, Brixton.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Let's go make merry.
we should very, very much go and get into our go and find that dresser person.
Hey, the
that we were
Chamberlain.
recommended.
Tia Cloudwalker, I believe.
Dala, love, I think you've made your protest now. I think you should, get into something a wee bit better.
Oh, very well.
I
was actually surprised you didn't protest my protest in the first place. So thank you for that.
Now listen, Dala, I have to admit to you, love, I've knocked off many a person in my time. But when it comes to your family, and especially your mother, I'll do it for free if you like. They're not nice people, your family. Your brother's bearable, but your mother goes. Mind you, I never had a mother to compare her to, so,
What was your mother's name again, Godot?
Arena Hadari Talandaran. Hadari was her maiden name.
Arena.
Arena.
Arena, not arena.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that'd be my accent. Arena.
Arena.
I'll get that.
Are you gonna tell me that you two dated way back when or something?
Oh, just the name is... Never mind. Yes. Yes, Aelar seems at least
Oh my god.
very sympathetic. I think maybe we could not get him on our side, but win him over a bit more, get him a little bit more... I mean, he seems at least a lot more of your favorable family.
Well,
Yes. He does enjoy... Yes, he is probably more tolerable than the others.
And
Although-
some... Oh, yes?
I was just going to say it'd be good to talk to Ilavara a bit more. She seemed quite warm at the beginning.
I need to come. I need to come with you again. I didn't quite get your father's voice. It's really hard to do. Your father's voice. I need to.
You need a little bit of that. If you don't mind me saying, Goodale, a little bit of that self-importance a bit more.
Brixton should have it.
No, but see, he comes from such humble beginnings. It's almost impossible for him to reach such levels of arrogance.
Right.
Oh, daughter.
Yes,
there
a
you
little
go.
bit like that. Yes,
It's close.
It's like
daughter.
looking at my respective father and Goodale's respective father.
Who would win in a fist fight?
Who would win in what?
Your father
between
or
who?
Goodale's father? Just curious.
It depends.
daughter.
Well, it depends on what you think. If technique
Really?
would win over, I think
Nope, just
Goodale's father.
Blind Fury.
Blind Fury. Well, my father was a bit crazy, so I think if he wasn't afraid of breaking a few of his own bones, he might get the drop. However, he was 73 when he went, so...
Nope, that's... those elven
Being
genes.
serious now, do we have to stay at this thing long, do we?
It's important that we stay as long as we need to, I reckon.
I've almost got his voice down, but not quite.
Alright, so...
The mannerisms are like this, are they not? And he moves up and down, trying to be like your father, pretty much. Pretty much in command, isn't he?
Do you want to make a performance check, Milford Brixton?
Okay. Performance. Hello. Just once in my life, be a good one. Oh, come on.
Wow, that's a 19.
Nice.
Yes, that's quite like him.
Okay. All right. Yes, we need to go back so I can hear him again. But the moment we sense any trouble, let's get out of there. I'm not comfortable there.
I'd like to see if, over a friendly game of Dragon Chess, me and Aelar, I might be able to get Aelar to be a bit more forthcoming about information he doesn't think is particularly important.
He was supposed to come and see us, wasn't he? Didn't you ask your brother to come and see us?
I did ask him to come find us. I'm not sure if he would be able to get away on a day such as this.
Oh, probably not.
That's a fair assessment. At any rate, shall we go to the Chamberlain to get ready?
Good idea.
Okay, let's go to the Chamberlain.
All right. And so you head off to the Chamberlain. And I think probably this is a good time for us to set aside the story for a week to our next session. And I thank you all for watching and for playing and all of that sort of thing. Is there anything you would like to do before we lock it down?
Goodale's going to send for a dress.
For a dress?
A dress.
All right. Very
That was
well.
that was a mighty satisfying episode for me.
Leith.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Excellent. Well, let us wave goodbye to our adoring fans, and thank you all very much. Ta-ta, and ending stream now.